They told you the rules. No gamer words. None of the slurry stuff. And then you're good. So what's up?
Can you hear me fine? Is everything working?
Yeah, sounds good. I'm going to turn you up just a little bit, just on my end.
Okay. Wonderful. What's up, man? What's going on?
Not much. You seem real mad on Twitter.
Oh, no. Let me explain, buddy. Let me explain. This is crazy. Okay. So, Friday, I was strolling through my YouTube, and I seen this thing. It was like Actuality Jack. I was like, well, what's this?
It's pretty close.
And I clicked on it, thanks. And I was like, okay. And I heard it, and I was like, well, come on, this is crazy. So then I was like, I'm just going to @this guy on Twitter, right? Like, nobody responds to Twitter. But then he responded, and we were kind of having this like kooky back and forth, and he enjoyed it so much. He was like, yo, why don't you join my stream Saturday, and we could just chill and vibe?
That's pretty close.
Like, yeah.
That's pretty
close. I was like, yeah, man, let's
yeah.
Let's vibe. I was feeling the music earlier, and I have a crazier story for you. So a guy I know, shout out, by the way, to everybody from my Twitter and my Discord who are watching this. I love you guys.
So you do have a Discord?
I do. I don't know, bro. I don't know why I could not click on waiting room. It was the weirdest thing.
Okay.
But thank you to everybody on my Twitter and my Discord who's here. Thank you for the prayers in general and your mutualship. Hit me up and DM me when this is done, if you can, so I could personally thank you. But my buddy, long time ago, he sat there and he was like, I used to watch this guy on YouTube, and when I was like a fedora atheist.
Yeah.
And, he had a friend who like transitioned and all this. I completely forgot about it. And I was talking to him today, and it turns out that it was you, and he's watching this right now. He, in fact, got banned from chat for saying something. So shout out to you, man. This is full circle, buddy. This is full circle. Do you feel this?
No.
Well, I'm feeling it, man. I'm sorry you don't. I'm sure your chat is. I'm sure my boys, my kings, I'm sure they're feeling it too. Let's go.
I'm so glad that you have a personality, because not a lot of you do. So that's good. That's good.
Oh, that's great, man.
It is good. It's absolutely refreshing. Super nice. Is your friend still an atheist? You said.
No. He became a Catholic.
Ooh, God, that's fucking cringy, but that's okay. That's all right.
Oh, well, I mean, listen, he didn't actually know about the corn seed.
You're a Catholic too, right?
Yeah, I am a Catholic, yeah.
So how would you describe yourself? If I called you a Catholic nationalist, would that be ideal?
I don't know what that would mean.
Well, that's what Nick Fuentes calls himself, so I just didn't know if you identified similarly.
That's interesting you said that.
He says it in his Twitter bio, isn't it?
That I'm a Catholic?
No, his Twitter bio.
Well, I'm not here to discuss him. I'm here to discuss you and me.
No, but you brought him up on Twitter. You brought him up, not me.
Well, you brought him up on Twitch, and you said I'm a fan of Nick Fuentes, which I guess is kind of true, but I don't think you really know to what extent. I think you have this view of that I'm this fanboy.
Hey, I would love for you not to be super dumb. That would be super cool.
Okay.
I would be I'd be very happy if by the end of this conversation, I talk to you and I go, you know what, that guy wasn't as bad as he made himself sound on Twitter.
Okay, that's fair, and I hope the same of you.
See that kind of cringe stuff. Glory to Jesus Christ. Ugh. Like just again, if you feel the need to like really simp for somebody, just go fap or something. Like rub one out or go cringe post somewhere else. Not my chat. It's weird, man. All right. I mean,
Christ is king. Pragmatic, my boy.
Yeah, you're
the only other person I've ever done a live stream with.
It's incredible.
Prag, my dude. What's up, buddy?
Okay. I mean, there's just. I mean, what's gonna end up happening is you're gonna start spamming that kind of shit with all caps, and then you're gonna get timed out, and it's just. Yeah.
Try to be polite, guys. We're the away team. Okay.
I'm trying to let you have a little space here. If you want to talk about the topic, cool. If you just want to simp for somebody, that's fucking weird. All right. So just fucking real weird. And God, I don't know how to describe to you how just cringe that is.
Getting back to topic on hand.
Yeah.
I watch some of Nick's stuff. I disagree with him on a few things.
What's a thing you disagree with Nick Fuentes on?
Oh, I think a big thing was Trump.
Okay, so you don't like Trump?
I like him and I don't like him. I think he's largely been a failure. I think
Okay.
you'd agree with that, actually.
I probably think to a stronger degree, but yeah.
Maybe. But he's done something
So
like take for example.
so well, go ahead. But I'm imagining that our failures lie on opposite sides of the spectrum. Like you think he didn't do probably enough bad shit, and I think he did too much.
Well, actually, he was saying recently, like, I'm going to march down there and storm the Capitol.
Sure.
MAGA's going to storm the Capitol, and then totally disavowed all of the people who did it.
Yeah.
Right? That was obviously wrong.
So
I've seen
Trump
that.
was wrong for disavowing the people that stormed the Capitol.
Well, no, Trump was wrong for saying that and then disavowing them. Like, if you're going to say that, if you're going to be one of these people, especially as a leader, right? Because Trump's obviously a leader. We're going to go storm the Capitol and I'm leading the movement. And then when people actually turns out listen to you and you're like, actually, guys, I didn't mean it. I had my fingers crossed the whole time. Like, what are you doing?
Okay.
Yeah, that's clearly wrong.
All right. So if he had supported them after, would you have been fine with that?
I've had more respect for it.
Sure, but
Because
I mean,
at
like,
least then you
I'm just
own
trying
it.
to figure out which. How do you feel about that entire process in general?
Oh, I think it's an interesting. I think there's an interesting dynamic there, because what you see is, for better and for worse, a sort of relighting of this American character, this American spirit, to have a sort of representation, feeling like something's unjust, whether it is or isn't. It's not really relevant to what their experience is. They certainly feel that way, and it's not even really their fault. They've been told it's been a fraudulent election, that your democracy is being stolen from you.
Okay.
This is an outrage. It's this is tyranny in a system of a morality that a democracy creates. Right, an unjust leader who is not actually voted in is a tyrant by definition. So you get all that, and you get these people worked up. I'm just happy to see people care about their identity as Americans, as their heritage. This is in many ways a sort of Boston Tea Party.
And so you support Black Lives Matter then, for the same reasons.
Well, that's a little different.
Oh, why is it? That's. I knew you were going to say that, which is not a
Well,
real
I know
surprising.
you know that I'm
so
going to say that.
you you support all those things, which literally actively apply to Black Lives Matter, but you disagree with that.
In what way do they apply to Black Lives Matter?
In what way don't they apply is the real question.
Well, you're the one who brought up the comparison.
Well, you're the one that says that they don't apply, so you have to tell
Because
me.
you brought up the comparison.
Right,
No, it's your responsibility to explain the comparison.
Okay.
When you bring
all right,
it up.
so
That's how logic actually works. By the way.
So they're advocating for their own expansion of human rights under the law.
What is a human right?
What's a human right?
Yeah, like what is it?
It's a set of rights that are determined that we should grant to all human beings.
Based on what?
Based on law. You would
Based
say
on
you
law.
say yeah. You would say it's like a cosmic Jesus thing, but also slavery was justified by Christians. So I mean, like,
so if
and
a
also
law
not only justified by Christians, but supported by the Bible itself.
Bro, you're going way off on these tangents, because I know you're trying to score points, but you got to remember, you're not the away team. I'm the away team.
I don't know
This
what
is
that
your
means.
crowd,
That
man.
doesn't
I
matter.
mean, you're here talking about, well, BLM and then slavery and Christ, and we could get to that if you'd like.
Okay, so
That's
do you
fine.
wait? You're trying to untangle Black Lives Matter from the concept of slavery?
No, you're the one who's trying to say, well, this is a Christian thing and slavery, and you're going on for all these tangents.
That's not a tangent. We can, because we're capable of doing more. We can. I can. I certainly can, because I'm capable of thinking about more than one thing at a time. So
I don't think you're capable of thinking of one thing at all.
That's interesting.
That's okay.
So what do you think I got wrong about that?
About what?
You just disagreed with me. For what reason?
Disagreed with you on what?
You just said I can't think about anything at all. You disagreed with the idea that Black Lives Matter was about human rights, and then I gave you my definition of human rights, and you said, I assume that you think that those are granted to you by your creator.
That's an interesting question. I don't necessarily believe everything that's claimed to be a human right is a human right.
Okay, so what's a human right that you think I think exists that you don't think is a human right?
It's probably in your mind a human right to be trans.
To be what?
trans.
It's a human right to have bodily autonomy, right?
I don't bodily autonomy. What does that even mean?
What is it?
The
Well,
right
I'll tell you what bodily
to do
autonomy means.
anything you want to your body?
Yeah, the right to do anything you'd like
No,
to your
you
body.
don't.
You don't have the right to do anything you'd like to your body. Why?
No. So this is an interesting, and this is actually kind of where I wanted to take it. I know you said when we DM'd that this will be the top, and you admitted this in the Twitter.
Whatever
that
you
it's
disagree
my
with me
topic.
about.
Right, and then you started your own thing, and that's fine. But this is actually kind of where I wanted to bring it.
You wanted to bring it to trans issues?
Yeah, kind of.
Why?
I know that you would believe in. Well, I'm getting there. I know that you would believe in.
Well, sure, but
Well,
I know you. I know you like to think that you have some sort of like charge here.
you're gonna have to let me explain.
I'm gonna have to. You're gonna have to define first off what you think bodily autonomy is before we can even go into whatever the fuck
I
you're
asked
just
you
gonna say.
if it's a right to whatever you want to your body, which you agreed on, and then I said no, you don't have a right to do that.
Right, and then I said why.
Explain. Right, and then I was going to further explain exactly.
Okay, then definitely explain that.
I would like to.
Okay.
So
specifically bodily autonomy.
Well, we'll get there, but this is more foundational than that.
Okay. More foundational.
Because you and I both agree that because you believe in human rights, and I do too, to an extent, you and I would agree that there is a base nature that makes us what we are as humans, or else you can't have human rights, because human rights would then therefore extend to just about anything. And the question is, what is that nature, and how do we know its essence, and what it is, and what it's for?
The nature of essence?
Of a human.
Okay, so define
what's the nature of a human.
Okay, define the essence of a human.
The thing that makes us what we are at the most substantial level, it would be, and I know you'll disagree with this, rational soul.
A rational
have
soul.
A rational soul.
So now you have to prove. Now you have to prove that a soul exists. Do you really want to have that discussion?
A soul is just that which animates a being.
Okay.
Everything has a soul to some level.
Okay. Does someone who's brain dead have an animated soul?
Everybody, as long as they're alive, they have a soul.
Are they alive? Are they alive if their brain is not functioning?
Are you sustaining them on life support?
So
I mean, this is a complete different conversation.
No. This is pretty foundational to the conversation. So
it actually isn't.
It really is. Is a person that is incapable of having thought due to the fact that their brain isn't a thing, is that person not only alive, but does that person have a soul?
If they're alive, they have a soul.
So what's alive?
Now,
having a heartbeat?
Well, that's a question. That's a very interesting one that I don't really think is pertinent, nor do I think about.
It's super important. Wait. No, we actually have to talk about that because it's, as you said, even more foundational. Because we can't even have the discussion past that. Because
I wasn't going to talk about rational souls. You were. You asked me what the essence of a human was, and I answered.
Right. So because
I was trying to talk to you about the nature of a human being.
Right. Because we have to establish a baseline for why you think a human right doesn't start at bodily autonomy.
No, because you wanted to ask what is human rights and this sort of core nature that human rights is
right. I have no idea why this confuses you.
I don't know why this confuses you because you just don't let me explain and you have to ask all these questions. And that's okay. I don't think you know very much about philosophy. And that's fine. I'll explain it.
Okay, so assume I don't know anything at all about philosophy. Assume I've never engaged in a philosophical discussion.
I already do.
Okay. So assume that's fine. Assume I have no idea what philosophy is and assume I have no idea what a soul is. Describe it. And how it would then lead to the fact that you need that for some bodily autonomy thing. Like, what is that granted by? It's granted by your God, right? So now we're just talking about God. That's what we're wanting to talk about.
Nope. We're actually going to talk about happiness if you'd let me get to it, because I think you and I would agree that we want people to be happy. That's what I'm trying to get with you at, but you don't let me get there, and that's fine. I understand why you'd want to avoid it.
So do you value happiness then?
Yes, of course.
So do you think that might be one thing that we need to strive for?
That's
for
the question.
In general?
What does it mean to be happy?
Sure. Okay, so what does it mean to be happy?
It means to me, and I don't know what you think, but it means to me ultimately to be living the best life.
So the best life according to who?
Oh, dude, you just knocked it out, though. This is exactly the right question to ask. Right. According to natural reason. And
so
the understanding,
who's natural reason?
Natural reason is just natural reason that we are all endowed with on the basis of being human.
Okay,
That
so
you can think of it specifically teleological thinking.
Sure.
That
so
is
your own
the point of
personal
something
natural
10.
thinking, the natural thinking that you are imbued with.
That humans are imbued with,
Right,
not
but,
you as an individual.
So not you as an individual. So if I say, here's how you should live your life, you would disagree with that.
Well, maybe it depends, I guess, on what you said. But the fact is,
okay.
Wait.
Answers. No, okay. So if you disagree with me, that's informed by yourself.
No, it's informed by reason, unless you think reason doesn't exist outside of
Do you
oneself.
think that everyone can reason to the same capability?
No, they don't have to.
Okay, so then who do you think does the ultimate reasoning for everybody?
What does that even mean?
So who do you think is the arbiter of human reason, as you've just...
You know the answer of that's going to be God, and you're trying to move it away. And
Am I trying to move it away? No, I'm fine with you answering God.
Yeah, no, I think you're trying to move it away from the conversation I'm trying to have.
Are you trying to have a conversation about God?
No.
Okay, then why?
I'm not moving it there.
I'm not. No, I'm not. No, it's
you
not
said
about
the arbiter of reason.
Okay, so the arbiter of
that's
reason.
Not pertinent to the argument.
It is, because then it would have to be, what does God deem is the right way to live, right?
Well, how do you know the right way to live, regardless if God deemed it? You know, Aristotle didn't know about he believed in a monotheistic God, but he didn't know about the Christian religion, nor did he have to. St. Thomas Aquinas talks about this. Man can know what is good for him based on his reason. Okay. Because we can understand the ends of the purpose of our stuff. And I'll give you an example. You wear glasses.
So you don't have to. You don't have to give me an example.
Well, I will. Maybe your audience doesn't know this, right? You wear glasses.
Yes. Okay.
The reason you wear glasses is because we know that your eyes can't see properly. We know what eyes are for. They're to see. Right. Fundamentally, there might be other
pretty
things.
Poor design, if you ask me.
Okay, sure. And your eyes, because you wear glasses, are somewhat degraded. You can't properly see, so you wear glasses to correct that. And some people can't see at all. They're just born blind. But we know the purpose of an eye is to see. And likewise, you could extend that to other things. For example, we know the purpose of sexuality is to procreate.
How is
so? If somebody
says,
no,
we do not agree with that.
Well, I know we don't. I
so
get that.
So then you can't assert. So then you can't assert that we know that sexuality is for procreation.
Well, we as in a general we, not
we
you
as
and
in
I.
a general we. No, generally
yes.
We do not agree on that at all. Generally, we as a human species do not agree on the assertion that sexuality is for procreation. Some sex is for procreation. Sexuality is an entirely different concept.
That's simply not true. All sex is for procreation.
That's not true. What if you get a blowjob? You're gonna make
That's not sex. That's sodomy.
You don't wait. I'm sorry. You don't get your dick sucked. I'm not surprised. I'm just really sad.
Look, dude. If you're gonna get uncouth, if you're gonna just try to make this like an uncouth conversation, that's on you. But if you want to speak about like a serious philosophy, then we can do that.
There's no wonder. I'm sorry. Go ahead, keep talking.
Oh, it's okay. I mean, maybe if you got less of them, you'd have a bit more way of concentrating.
Yeah,
that's all right.
Few. You know what? You know what we need? More cum brain, less blowjobs. That makes you. You know what? You know what makes me feel really, really in control? I don't
even know what that means.
You know what makes me really fucking like a Zen master? Fucking come up to my eyeballs because I haven't nut in 5 years because I'm alone. Like, come on, bro.
I think you'd be a lot better off. So we could know the purpose of things because that's not sex, right? You're trying to say, well, what if you commit sodomy? Well, that's just a misuse.
So sex is so the definition of sex to you is penile vaginal missionary sex. For the purpose specific,
you're just adding in baseless insults.
So
that's supposed to be some sort of
is that an insult?
It's just missionary.
Okay, so can you do it from behind?
If you want to talk
no. This is important.
Body,
this is super important. Can you do it from behind?
I'm sure that's important to you.
It is definitely important. So here's why
the answer lies in a book that you could read by St. John Paul II.
St. John Paul has a Kama Sutra. St. John Paul,
and he has a whole thing on theology of the body.
Sex positions.
If you want to know more about it, if you actually want to have a serious conversation on something that's more important? Maybe it's not more important to you. I don't know. We can do that.
St. John Paul's sex positions. What sex positions are okay?
Is this really like your level of analysis?
For the purpose of procreation.
Is this like?
Wait, do you not have an answer? I'm actually asking because what if I want to lead a sinless life from here on out? How would I know how to do that if you were not to tell me?
I would definitely I would consult with your spiritual director.
You're my spiritual director right now.
I am not a priest,
and you're not doing a good job. I need to know. Can I hit that shit from behind?
Some people are just unteachable. I fear.
Can she be on top?
I mean, this is honestly amazing. That your brain cannot. Okay? You're afraid. You're genuinely afraid to have a serious conversation, and that's what I thought when I said you're a basic.
All right, let's have a serious conversation.
I'm
definitely not a lib.
You're definitely a mindless fedora tipper at the least.
I could be a fedora tipper. I'm fine with that.
Yeah, I could. I bet you read a lot of Dawkins.
I actually I don't think I've ever read Dawkins. He's actually pretty cringy.
Well, that is freaking amazing.
Why is it amazing? It's not 2014, brother.
Judging by the way you're acting, it is.
Judging by the way I'm acting. Oh, I'm sorry. The real kids believe in Jesus, bro. Anyway, let's have a serious conversation.
Yes.
The real cool kids believe in Jesus. Okay.
Based.
That's fine. Yeah. If you just want to say like the internet words around the concept of Jesus, that's fine. But let's have that serious conversation. Why are we here? What's the conversation you want to have about trans people?
I'm explaining that we can know what it means for other people besides ourselves to be happy. And I can tell somebody through the use of reason, because we share this humanity, which you agree on because you believe in human rights, that they're not happy. So when somebody who says that they feel like a woman and they want to become a woman because it will make them happy, we know that
what if they want to become a man? Can we talk about that instead?
Okay, if a female wants to become a man, then that's not going to make them happy either.
Okay, because I want to talk about that instead, because you're always worried about the other one, because it always feels like penis turning into a vagina is losing something, and you're very hung up on that. Let's talk about trans men.
Something.
Let's talk about trans men.
What about them?
Well, because they gain a penis, so it's a little bit different, right? So
they don't.
Okay, so they gain something that looks very similar to a penis. And
it's nothing in essence the same. But yeah, sure, let's talk about them. What about them?
Whether or not, it doesn't matter. It's really irrelevant, the aesthetics of the penis, really.
You're somewhat correct, because it doesn't. Really. It will never change their essence.
Wait. Does God only let people into the kingdom of heaven if they have a pretty dick, or what? Like, what's going on?
The absolute juvenile strawmans is hilarious.
See, that's what I thought. So we can agree that the aesthetics of a penis are irrelevant, right?
I'm saying that the nature of a person isn't changed because you decided to add some appendage.
Did you? Okay.
They do not change their nature from female to male.
Sure. I don't think any trans
cosmetic surgery.
Here's what's going to really bake your noodle. No trans person says that I was born female and I am now a male.
Wow.
Yeah, none of them
really baked my noodle.
Yeah.
That's crazy. They are, though.
No, they're not. They're literally not.
Yes, they are.
No, they're not. No, I'm going to tell. No. Stop asserting things that you don't understand. So they're not
gender sex difference.
They're not talking. Yeah, they're not talking about their biological sex. Okay, well, I'm telling you it is. So they're not talking about their biological sex. Okay, they are talking specifically about how they are societally, talked about. Between people, they understand that their chromosomes or whatever are things. But who gives? Do we operate on a system that checks chromosomes in social situations? Like, the only time you need to check a chromosome is when you're doing some sort of blood work or something that has to do with any sort of hereditary illness or paternity or whatever, or maternity, whatever you got going on. It doesn't apply to social situations. So why would you care whether or not someone is like, I feel happier this way? Why? What is? Okay, so they do, but and just steel man me for a second. Try to steel man it, because I know you don't do that. So try to assume that any trans person that says they are happier, just believe them. Is it hard to believe them that they're happier?
I think that they perceive themselves as happier. I just
okay. So do you incorrect. Know? Okay, so. So when someone says, I'm happy right now, you go, nah, I don't think you are. That's how your brain works.
I think you think happiness is, and maybe you can correct me if I'm wrong. I
Sure.
think you think happiness is some sort of psychological state.
Okay, so
This
what do you
emotion
Okay.
that we call happy.
So if not an emotional state, if not brought on by the chemistry inside your brain to determine whether or not you have the particular soup of endorphins running through your chemistry that determines whether or not you feel a certain mood, what do you think it is?
It is living the best life known through natural reason and using the telos of our
Okay, so
body to
if I
understand its
sapped you
ends.
of serotonin, would you be happy?
That wouldn't make any difference whether I'm happy or not.
You don't think losing the chemical that
You're
causes your brain to perceive happiness, you would not, you don't think that would have any effect on you whatsoever. So what do you
you're
think Clint?
talking about a psychological state. I've just said that a psychological
Right.
state
So would you
does not correspond to the truth of external
Okay.
reality in which you are happy or not.
Sure. So your definition of of happiness has nothing to do with how someone feels. So what would you describe a situation where I feel happy, like in the way that I'm using the term? How would you describe that? Not using the word happy.
You're describing a psychological experience of joy.
Okay, so joy,
Of
so
perceived
joy,
subjective joy.
so
It's
joy.
a subjective experience.
Okay,
in
wait,
which
hold on.
you feel is
So I
joyful.
just want to make sure. So joy is separate from happy. Joy is a different.
In this case, yeah.
In this
to feel
case,
joy I feel joy, right?
So you don't say when you say you make like a Lego set or something. I don't know what you do, but you have a hobby and you're happy with whatever happens, or not happy. I'm sorry, joyous. You go, man, I'm really happy with my progress here. Wait, no, I'm really joyous on my progress. So you use joy in that way, like colloquially speaking.
Are you trying to say that because we use the word happy colloquially to refer to psychological states, it therefore means that happiness on a philosophical sense is a psychological state?
Well, I mean, definitionally speaking, that's what happy means. But I mean, if we're going, I'm fine with going with your definition of happy, so we can have this conversation. But I mean, obviously, you don't communicate that very properly, and I would consider in the future making that very clear if you ever have this discussion with somebody else, because that is it's just a really sluggish way to describe what you're talking about. So if you wanted to, you should start off defining joy and happiness and saying, going forward, I'm going to use joy to describe the psychological aspect of how people feel, and happiness is the way, like that you say is living your best life, probably according to what? What's the standard to live a happy life?
Oh, it's to figure out what our ends are through natural reason, right? And the one I was giving you
But what does that mean?
I'm giving you the one of sexuality, right? Let's talk about that.
Mhm.
If somebody says, I suffer from same-sex attraction, right? They have attractions to, if they're a man, they have attractions to another man.
Have
And
you
they
ever
say, well,
experienced suffering through same-sex attraction?
that is neither here nor there.
Well, no, it is. It is. And it just, I mean, if you've overcome that, like, if that's something you feel as if you've needed to overcome, it is important to the conversation, because we need to talk about like the concept of like, if you have experienced that. I haven't, so I don't know what it feels like. So I want to know if you've ever felt attraction to the same sex, like how that manifested in you. Like, how did that feel? Was it joy? Or have you never experienced it? I'm just asking. I'm not trying to gotcha. I support gay people, so there's nothing to gotcha about.
I know you do.
Yeah, it's not denigration. I genuinely want to know. Have you ever experienced same-sex attraction, or I guess just in general, any attraction that you would find to be not towards a female partner? Does that make sense?
I do not suffer from same-sex attraction. I know people who do, but it's neither here nor there.
Okay. Have you ever had a conflict insofar as your the happiness with your body as it happens to pertain to your like sex organs and your gender?
No.
Okay. Me either. That's totally fine. So we're cis het men, right?
That's okay.
So you disagree? Well, I mean, those are just how the professionals talk about those things. Whether
Reddit moment. But sure.
A Reddit. Okay, cool. So
professionals. Yeah.
Well, yeah, medical professionals. That's how they discuss the concept.
Yes. I'm sure they have many studies, right?
Yeah. But regardless, we don't have to ever talk about a study, because all we have to talk about is how you perceive that we should live a happy life. So, I was gonna say the DSM is pretty clear on that. But if you disagree with the DSM, that's fine. That's a thing you can do. I don't suggest it, because
I'll heed your warning.
Well, because they're medical professionals, right? So they've spent their life. It's like disagreeing with a high-level theologian about what Thomas Aquinas said, right? Why would you disagree with that person who knows Thomas Aquinas and what the person said, right? They're an expert in that field. They've spent a lot of time. You don't have time to be an expert in medicine and have time to be an expert in whatever you're an expert in, right? So wouldn't you want to defer to an expert in this scenario? God sent them on their path to become an expert, right?
I probably don't assume the framework of reality that they do.
Interesting.
And that's the problem with science, right?
So I'm very interested in how you frame reality.
Okay. I think I view it a little bit differently metaphysically than they do, right? In science, I'm sure you're a very big believer in science. Science,
okay.
However, assumes a framework in order for it to function.
So I'm assuming it's the material framework that you disagree with?
Materialism, naturalism, it assumes mathematics. It assumes a lot of things that it doesn't seek to prove, and that's fine. It doesn't seek to prove them.
Wait. Hold on. So you disagree that mathematics is a thing?
I'm not saying I disagree with mathematics.
Well, I need to know.
I'm explaining things that it's assumed on.
Well, sure, but so what about mathematics?
Do you think I'm trying to get to a point. I need
to know. So it's just interesting, because I've never heard anyone.
I think 2 + 2 is 4. Yes.
Okay, but why?
I hold it a priori.
Okay, so that's fundamental to the idea of mathematics in general. So if you can say mathematics is flawed because we make assumptions, like wouldn't you also say that God probably instilled natural physical laws to the universe in the form of mathematics and physics, right?
God does have an eternal law which is knowable to the human mind.
Oh,
yeah.
Okay,
I agree.
So then why would you disagree with those things that science agrees exists?
Science can't say certain things because of the moral framework it assumes.
Okay, so
the metaphysical framework.
What's a thing that science can't say due to the metaphysical assumptions it makes?
There was a study recently that scientists attempted to pass off as real, where they said that Catholics are wrong. Transubstantiation doesn't exist because they took
You mean the idea where you drink the wine, it turns into blood?
The consecration of the host is what they're specifically studying.
I'm not a Catholic, so what about that is what you believe, and then what does science so I'm not so I'm familiar.
Sure, we believe that its substance changes.
Okay,
that it fundamentally changes its substance, but substance is not the same thing as accidents.
Okay, so I was correct in saying wine turns into blood?
Yes, it turns into blood, but the accidents don't necessarily change to comply to the substance.
What is
so
that?
When they test a host, that's the physical. When you take a host that is now consecrated and it becomes the body of Christ, it doesn't. Though there are Eucharistic miracles in which it does become flesh, but normally it stays to appear the same. And if you were to test its physical properties, literally no Catholic that's ever done serious theology would say that, that turned into like human DNA.
Okay.
Nobody would say that because it's simply, and that science doesn't assume a non-materialistic moral framework to which it can work upon.
Okay.
So when it does that study,
right,
it just reinforces its own metaphysical beliefs and then tries to make a claim that it's not real. And it tries to fundamentally end like a Catholic dogma.
Okay, so the Catholic dogma being that when you drink wine, it turns into blood, but there is no...
It's not when you drink it. It's made prior to that, but
sure. Wait, so it's blood when you drink it? Like before,
in
the cup?
When they consecrate it. Right?
Okay, but it's also wine.
It was wine, and then it tastes.
Okay, we're just gonna training wheels this because I live in a natural world. When it's in the goblet or whatever you got going on, the crunk cup, it gets consecrated. The wine turns into blood. Then you drink it, but you experience all the experiences you would have with wine, and also if it's tested, it is tested to show as wine. but it's blood, right? Is that what I'm getting?
The accidents remain as wine. It will appear and taste and smell.
Okay.
If you were to look at it under a microscope, it will appear to be wine. Yes.
Okay.
The substance.
So
changes.
so that sounds like transness, in my opinion, but that's fine. So you're drinking trans blood. That's cool. Cool.
Yeah, it's the same thing, dude.
Yeah. Well, it feels like it's blood, but it's it's not really blood. It'll never actually be real blood.
Yeah.
Yes.
An observation of the senses that doesn't comply to a metaphysical difference. That's very different.
Scientists can't prove your real blood. So how do you know it's blood then?
Oh, this is something that you're going to simply have to hold on to faith. And now there's reasons for
right, because
having faith,
Jesus says this is my blood and this is my body and stuff like that, right?
Well, the Catholic Church, talks about this and metaphysical differences.
Well, I believe Jesus mentions it in the Bible, does he not? I don't have my Bible.
Yes, of course.
Right. So so you're taking his word or Catholic priest word?
Oh, well,
I'm assuming
not
it's
all
derived from Jesus. Right?
Well, but not all. Well, my point is not all Christians believe in transubstantiation. Protestants typically.
Oh, I know all Christians don't. I know that.
Right. So when I say,
we
Bible
take
it
study
from the
for
church,
like a decade. I understand this. I'm just wondering what you believe specifically.
Right. So when I say the church, I'm signaling.
You mean the Catholic Church?
I adhere to the dogmas of the church.
Right.
Yes, you're right. Jesus did do it, and he said, "This is my body. This is my blood."
Okay. So is so if something runs counter to the Bible, irrespective of anything that you're shown, the Bible is correct then, right?
What would that even mean? Give me an example.
Well, so in this example, you're shown that wine is clearly wine, but you believe it is blood. So I mean, it's like literally it's going against all material components that exist in the universe that are created by God, right? Because it is a material. It is in the universe, and it was created by God. So wine there is now consecrated, and it doesn't take on the properties of blood that God also created, yet it is blood.
Do you know what hylomorphism is?
No.
Hylomorphism is a metaphysical framework started by Aristotle that the Church and Aquinas has moved forward. And it talks about the difference between substance and accidents of a being. Right? In metaphysics, being qua being, and it talks about how there are accidents that you have and you have substance, right? The substance can change and the accidents can remain.
All right.
You said something interesting about the Bible. We believe the Bible. I don't know what that means to you. There is entire philosophical and theological framework behind this and many other topics discussed beyond the Bible. I don't think that maybe you're very smart. I don't know. But I don't think you can just simply read the Bible and go, oh, well, there it is. Well, that's the answer. We got it. We've read it.
You're Catholic. Of course not.
Right. There's an entire structure of intellectual.
Sure, but a Protestant would fundamentally disagree with you.
Well, yeah, they would.
Right.
Yeah. We agree there.
Except you're strangely literalist in certain places, which is interesting.
What's the difference between literalist and literalistic?
I don't know.
Okay.
You prone to literalism if you're literalistic?
And a literalist
is a noun?
Literal and literalistic are
so one's
two
a noun and one's an
things
adjective.
In study,
sure.
Right? Like when a Calvinist, for example, will say that they literalistically believe the Bible, that would mean that they believe the Bible like God turned green with envy. Then literalistically, he actually turned green with envy. Literal means that you hold it to be true, really significantly true, but it doesn't necessarily mean that it corresponds in the same way. We would say when we said God turns green with envy, it's an expression to show in the best way we can as humans this change. We don't deny it. We don't deny that it's true. We think it's true. We just don't think it's true necessarily in the same way, right? That's the difference between literal and literalistic in this use.
Okay, so why a rejection of materialism?
I don't see it as a significantly useful moral frame or metaphysical framework. I don't think that it works properly. I just don't think it's true.
Okay.
I
So
mean,
why
at the
would
end of the
God
day,
so why would God create a material world with
mm,
the literal frameworks that are there, and why would he have created a universe that does not in fact point to what you're talking about, basically?
God, the universe doesn't point to what?
The universe does not point to the beliefs that you have just said. Like
Uh,
at least it's materially, the wine is still wine. It's not blood. So like that's what I'm saying. Like why is there an incongruence with the world that God created and the world that you believe?
I'm not going to be able to possibly speculate on why God
So
did
it's just
created the physical
it's
world
just
in us.
mysterious
And
ways.
well, it's not necessarily mysterious. I mean, can you know necessarily the motives of another? Just a normal person.
Sometimes,
Not
sure.
necessarily.
You can at least
Sometimes, but
you
not
can at
always.
minimum intuit it, right?
I
You
mean, you
can
could pretend.
speculate. You can also have at least minimum conjecture about it. But in this case, God literally created an entire universe that runs directly counter to the belief in non-natural things. So I'm wondering why
Oh,
God
it
would.
doesn't necessarily run counter to it. I understand what you mean. When you look around you, you don't see God. You just see physical things in which the
Well,
world
sure, but you
exists, and
also don't see like gamma rays, but we know they exist, and so
yeah. But on the everyday, I'm trying to throw you a bit of a bone here.
do you
Your
wait.
everyday observations, you see the material, right?
Sure.
It's obviously real. But when you talk about something that's abstracted from it and transcends beyond it, it kind of gets muddied because you can't observe it.
Oh, but we can observe a lot of things that our bodies can't observe.
I agree, and we can know things without observation.
Okay, you're not a flat earther, are you?
I
That's
am.
usually a Protestant thing.
Oh, that's interesting. I think the Earth is a cube.
No, but for
I'm
real
a
though,
cube Earther.
right? But
No, I'm not a flat
you
Earther.
believe in the broader universe and the size of it and all that stuff.
Yeah.
What about the Earth's age?
What, 6,000 years, 10,000 years? I think it is.
That's it.
That's what they say.
That's not what it.
The experts.
No, what? No.
Ken Ham says that. Yeah.
Oh, but Ken Ham's a Protestant, first of all, and second of all,
Oh,
that's
could be true about something.
that's young Earth creationism. Okay, I was wondering where you were on that. So okay.
I'm just messing with you, dude.
That's good because I was gonna say it's usually not a Catholic thing.
I don't think Ken Ham is a
All right, good.
very interesting individual.
All right, good. Okay, so so how does this lead to a broader political conversation?
That's a very. I was actually wondering the same thing.
Yeah.
I was trying to talk about trans and maybe even human rights, and then it got
right.
thrown
But we can't
all the
even.
way.
We really
to
can't even
this.
talk about that. You don't believe in the same reality. Like literally, we don't agree on a reality. So
Ask any of the guys that I was talking to. I said the same thing. I was like, there is nothing that we're going to fundamentally agree on. He won't change his mind about anything. I won't change my mind about anything.
It's because you don't live
His audience won't. My audience won't.
It's because you don't live in a reality. You live in what the Bible and the broader church agrees the reality is you live in.
That's not the reality. Yeah, that's not the reality.
I mean, it isn't. Like literally, according to you, it's not the reality. We can't perceive what you are talking about.
Because the argument follows that because there are certain aspects of a reality in which you cannot inherently perceive through observation.
Not even
that
inherently.
Therefore, you do not believe in the parts of reality that you can perceive through observation.
No. I never. No.
That's how logic works, dude.
No, I never said.
You got a good thing going on.
Hey, buddy,
bro.
I never said inherently. So here's the thing: there is no situation in which we will ever be able to observe what you are talking about because it literally defies observation. You literally said wine is simultaneously it's blood, but we will always perceive it as wine. It literally defies any form of observation to agree with you. You fundamentally live in a different reality that cannot be corroborated by any metric that we agree is reasonable to observe something. So it's literally just, I think this thing exists because I very strongly believe it, so that is my reality. That's not a reliable reality to live in. If I believed...
The irony of you saying that while trying to say happiness is a subjective feeling of pleasure. The irony.
We literally know how to measure.
We cannot correspond to reality, these things, and then therefore we can't know them as real.
Materially, we literally know how happiness works.
Become a woman.
Yeah.
I totally believe that, bro.
Because a man and a woman...
You just defeated your whole argument, dude.
I didn't, but
like,
it's
is this
because
your
I
first
live...
time?
But it's because I live...
Like,
it's because I live materially,
I know
right?
you do this more than I do.
Holy shit, dude! You gotta stop. You gotta stop interrupting. So, the difference being, of course, that one is you are talking about some sort of thing that we can't observe. I can observe someone's gender, right? And they can observe their gender because they know what their gender is, right? Do you know what your gender is?
Gender is fundamentally tied to sex.
Okay,
and it cannot be abstracted out.
We disagree with that, and it's because I live in a different reality than you, right? Because you live in one that is based on literally nothing, no observation, no calculation. It's based on the words of other people that you also believe. It has no foundational like structure by which to like buttress itself. It only has the words that were written long ago. It has nothing else besides like sort of like flippant little things that you can say. Like you can go like, well, metaphysically speaking, it has...
Do you not believe in abilities to understand anything besides observation?
You don't believe in like literal easy things like the fact that we understand gender different? Like even from a non-Western perspective, other cultures agree that there are different genders. They untie it from sex and gender. You just fundamentally disagree that they can do that?
That doesn't make it right.
What do you mean right?
They do it.
It doesn't matter if it's right or wrong.
It doesn't make it correct. It doesn't make it correct. It doesn't... And I used this before, and I'll use it again.
How can you verify something is correct, though? You literally can't back up correctness in your worldview.
What? You can't correspond something to the truth found in external reality?
You can't establish truth because you have no metric by which we can test the truth to make sure that the truth is true. I just said
natural reason this whole time.
But natural reason, but your natural... Okay, but your natural...
What are you doing now, bro?
But your conversation, or the conversation we're having, the natural reason you have relies specifically on your brain, correct?
For you to function, reason, yes.
For you to reason, you need a brain. Okay. We agree that you need a brain, which is a material component to the thing. Now, you disagree that like brain chemistry has an effect on any of this shit.
It doesn't have it just because you feel brain chemistry that shows that you have this psychological state of joy doesn't necessarily mean you're happy. In other words,
so one of your fans just said white power.
Okay.
Do you agree with white power?
What does white power mean?
Do you think that white people are inherently better than non-white people?
Who said it? I'm just curious.
BQBEK. White power.
Don't even know who that is.
Well, he's not my fan. He's definitely your fan.
I don't know if he's mine.
He's 100% yours. Well, I just want to know if you agree with the sentiment then.
What does it mean?
I just told you. The inherent belief that white people are superior to non-white people. By any metric. Literally any metric.
Oh, this is silly. I don't think that inherently you're superior because you're white in any metric.
Okay, good.
Black people can be superior to you in some things, and depending on their particulars, right? Thomas Sowell, regardless if you and I even agree with them, is clearly more intelligent than you or I.
Sure.
That would be obvious.
Okay.
Usain Bolt could run a heck of a lot faster than I can.
Okay.
So, does that answer it? Can we get back to our conversation?
Yeah, I was just wondering because I'm getting a few Nazis in my chat. Like
they're literally saying that's like what they are.
Well, they're literally saying. I mean, there's people saying like Heil.
Okay.
Do you think that? I mean, fundamentally, you must not like. Do you like fascism?
I don't think Julius Evola was right about almost anything. No.
So you disagree with fascism in general?
I think that its philosophical framework assumes a sort of pre-philosophical world that's simply not true. So yeah, I disagree with fascism.
There we go. That's all I needed.
Like,
So okay, so that's good because it's important. So I had other people in here that were
I mean,
advocating.
this is just the typical sort of language game that you guys
It's
play.
not really a language game. I just
It
want to know. I
is.
want to know what your beliefs are politically speaking.
It's saying like
Because I'm
it's trying to signify to like your crowd or others like I'm some sort of heretic of your system.
Well, no,
A
if you're not
particular
a
type of
fascist, that's
heretic.
fantastic. I'm wondering how you frame your own political viewpoint.
I like Russell Kirk. I think O.A. Brownson wrote a fantastic book called The American Republic right after the Civil War. I think there's a lot of wonderful things about the American Romanticist movement that we could learn from.
Okay.
James Fenimore Cooper, Sir Roger Scruton's very good.
Sure. How would you frame your if you were to run, what would be the political affiliation that you think would be most close? Not necessarily a party, but just like a system. Like, so I would call myself a libertarian socialist.
Okay. I don't.
Probably a libertarian
I don't
market
really know.
socialist right now.
I don't really think in those terms, unfortunately. I don't worry about if I was running, what my sort of like.
You don't have to worry about it. I just want to know so we can have some sort of framework moving forward.
No, I get it. And I'm trying to tell you like thinkers that I find fascinating and I agree with, right? Sir Roger Scruton, Edmund Burke, Russell Kirk, these are all traditional conservatives. That sort of take that Burkean line against the Enlightenment and argue tradition, these chains. But they're not, can you really call a Republican in modern day in the U.S. A Kirkian?
Probably not.
Probably not, right? So it's kind of hard, right? Because if I said I was a conservative, for example, Kirk wrote The Conservative Mind, would that signal that I'm a Kirkian? Not quite. Because that word to us today doesn't mean that. It's like Reaganism at best.
Okay.
So yeah, it's hard to really do that.
Do you have a contemporary political individual that you particularly enjoy, whether they're a pundit or not?
I enjoy certain people because they have, might have interesting points here or there, but philosophically, I don't really know. Sir Roger Scruton died last year. Unfortunately, I would have said him if he were still alive. Yeah, it's hard to answer that. I would say my answer would be like Sir Roger Scruton if he were still alive. I guess that counts to me, right? Like he died last year, so it's still contemporary.
Okay, I guess I disagree that someone at the end of their life is contemporary to the conversation. But that's okay. You're not really answering the question really, but that's okay. That's fine. Okay, so politically speaking, besides transness, because again, you just don't live in the same universe. It's a fruitless conversation because you don't understand what I'm talking about. And even when you do, like, intellectually understand, you don't even try to apply it to a steelman position, right? So, like, I can say, okay, if God exists, right? If God exists in the way that you say it is, and He has determined what is right or what is wrong, He has never once talked about how someone's gender applies to themselves. And He's also talked about mutilating dicks on purpose, which is a good thing to Him. So, like, I don't understand. I don't understand what.
Do you think what you just said steelman's my position?
Do I think what? Okay, so God Himself has no comment on sex or gender. Do you disagree?
I don't think that's relevant because I'm a Catholic. I think the church speaks for God on this earth.
Okay. So
your argument, what you said earlier, the reason I asked if you steelmanned me, if you thought you steelmanned me, is because my argument actually didn't rely on God. Because I assume you would also agree that we have reason. And that we can know
Pope Francis says that homosexuality is not a sin.
Did that change in the church, or
He's the Pope.
Are you just going off? And that's how it works.
He's the Pope. He's literally the vessel through which God speaks to the church.
That's how it works, right? The Pope can say it's raining outside, but it's not, and all of a sudden it flashes.
So you disagree with the Pope?
There's a difference between Pope as personal theologian and as Pope, as his state, right, as his position as Pope. There's a difference. Nobody said papal infallibility is fundamentally to everything a Pope says. That's never been the position of the Church. So
that's irrelevant to the position. It's irrelevant because the Church, since as early as 2013, it's been what, 8 years, 8 straight years of them being supportive of LGBTQ plus people. So I don't understand why you are choosing to disagree with these people.
What did they change about church dogma and church positions? I'm curious.
The church position is to support these people and bring them into the church if they are, like, I can read the quote if you'd like, but you just said you don't care about the Pope.
Oh, I agree. We should bring them into the church. Yeah. I've never disagreed with
right,
that.
And it says nothing about converting them to not being gay. It says to embrace them as brothers.
What does that mean? Does that mean to accept their lifestyle, or does that mean for wanting them to be happy and going back to living the best life?
Again, do you want me to... You don't care about the Pope. You just said that, though, so why am I even...
I understand the Church's position is that we want to take people and make them Catholic. I agree. That would make them happy.
The Church's position is also that they can... that they are fine in the way they are.
And the Church position has never been that they can transition.
It literally is now.
It literally is not.
It is.
It simply isn't. You cannot just transition, and you cannot have a gay relationship.
You can
as a Catholic.
It's okay.
Okay.
Catholic, you can.
Okay. I will ask you simply to go to your local Catholic church and ask them the dogma.
Okay. Yeah, you can though. By the way. So,
so you know. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm sure they made it a valid marriage. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a valid marriage.
Yeah, it is.
You can't get validly married by lots of Catholics.
And not as a gay person, no.
Yeah, you literally can't.
You can't marry a man if you're a man. Sorry.
You can
get
married by a Catholic priest if you want,
guys. I don't even want to like. I don't want to sound rude.
You like literally can. It's not like made up.
It's do you know anything?
Yeah, I know a few things, man.
Because this is simply not true.
Like I see some married gay people in chat right now. It's pretty strange.
Oh my gosh, you had seen it. Oh, that must be
some married people. There you go.
Whoa, that's crazy.
No, Flever, fuck off. Get your own platform.
I mean, this is like, there's nothing even, we got to move on from that point because there's simply nothing to discuss. You can look at the Church's position on it.
Sure.
You can read the Catechism.
Yeah.
You could go ask your local priest.
Yeah.
And assuming they're not like James Martin,
mm-hmm.
They're going to go and tell you that the Church's position has never changed.
Oh, I'm sure there's lots of Catholics that won't marry two gay people. But you can go get married by a Catholic priest. There are many that do that. So I don't even know, man.
Okay. Like I said, we'll simply just have to move on from that.
I mean, I'm assuming your contention is, but it's not recognized by God or some shit. But
if some priest goes against and does a rogue wedding, maybe some do. But the Church's position has never changed on this.
The Church's position literally changed in 2013.
It didn't. You've read like an article?
No. I read the Pope's own words, but it's okay. He's just the head of the church.
Yeah. You've read the guy say something, and that's whoa. What was it he said? Who am I to judge? I think is like a quote from him.
Mm-hmm. And he also said that we should embrace. He also said that we should embrace the LGBT community.
You should accept that they have a hard burden to bear and it's not easy and you should want them to be happy. And I fully agree with that. The problem is you don't understand what that means.
And then it's not a sin.
That is not at all.
It's okay. It's all right. It's all right. It's irrelevant. It's irrelevant. It's okay.
Do you think, hold on, do you think it's a sin to suffer from same-sex attraction?
No.
Because that's never been a position. It's if you commit sodomy, if you act on a disorder, then that act is a sin.
You think blowjobs are sodomy, bro? Like, that's weird. Is masturbation is masturbation like sodomy?
No.
So you can masturbate.
No.
You can't masturbate.
No, you cannot.
Okay. When? Okay. Do you have a wife?
Because it's. I'm not going to talk about my personal life.
Oh, okay.
It's
Well, I don't have a wife, but I do have a partner.
okay.
Well, I don't know. I was throwing out the little olive branch there. We're getting to
Cool.
know each other, you know.
Cool. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah. So
That's wonderful.
when's the how
One day you'll get married, I'm sure.
how
Um,
long's it been?
one day you'll get married.
Been a
I
while.
think you'll be a Catholic,
You think
and
you think I'll be a Catholic?
I think one day you got this, bro. I believe in you.
Yeah. No. So God made me, and then He made my brain say, you know what? You are going to be prone to desire proof of things that people claim, rather than just they feel really strongly about it. And that's the way He made me, man.
The world suffers from original sin. It's fallen. Your eyes don't work perfectly because you have glasses, and obviously there's other burdens that exist. I don't know what to say other
It
than
suffers from originals. Okay, so
some
what's the logic
people,
behind original sin, bro? Can we
some
talk about that?
people.
That's more
Hold on.
interesting.
Some people have
You're
a burden that's
you're
harder
like
than others.
proselytizing. No one cares. Can we talk about something fun?
Life simply isn't fair,
Life
and
isn't
that's a
fair,
difficult
man.
place for you to be if you
What a
have
rough one.
same-sex attraction.
I don't
But
have same sex
don't act
attraction,
on
and
it.
that's kind
I'm
of a
not saying
bummer.
you.
Oh,
I'm not
okay.
saying
It's kind
you.
of a
I'm
bummer
just saying
though.
in general, and
I
that's a
would
difficult place
swim
for
in
you
an
to
ocean
be.
of dick.
I don't doubt that. I think you already do, but that's okay,
But well,
right?
I
I mean, the
don't.
Pope
But
said it,
that would be
so
awesome. I would love to, but
yeah, the
I
Pope said it is, right?
the Pope
That's
said that
just
you can.
that's the way.
I'm
That's the
assuming
way
he's not
Catholicism
for. I'm
works.
assuming he's not for promiscuity in that sort of way. But yeah, I don't. Who cares?
Yeah, that's just the way the Catholicism works, right? Like the Pope said, like, bruh, did you check Reddit? Like, did you check Reddit?
I don't have a Reddit account.
Top post? You don't?
No.
Dude, you'd fit right in.
Do
I'm
you
sure
have a
you'd
Reddit account?
get a lot of Reddit gold.
You reference it a lot. Are you on like Our
I
Catholics?
I do not have a Reddit, no.
Oh, okay.
Sorry, King. That's not my physiognomy.
All right, bro. So, do you want to talk about original sin and how stupid it is, or what?
It's a dogma that you're never going to hold in this conversation. So I don't know. I mean, you said it'd be fun, but I don't really see it being as anything
fun.
productive.
Well, it's just kind of stupid. This is why I think it's fun.
I mean, I know you think
like you read the first two pages of the Bible, and you're like, "Well, that's dumb."
Whoa, you've read them and you know them. I mean, that's how Bible study works,
well,
right?
Yeah,
I mean, you have a whole YouTube channel dedicated to it. I mean, you must really know. I mean, here you are at one side of your mouth saying how you have to go and just assume what the professionals, the experts say. Mm-hmm. And here on the other side of your mouth, you're saying that you can just read the Bible and know it. So, I mean, I'm sure you're very well aware.
Wait, do you think I've never hold on? Do you think I've never listened to what you would consider to be an expert?
I'm sure you're very well aware of the robust debate that goes on in like Christian scholarship.
I am definitely.
And how
it'll be up to me, Sushi Mom. Don't ask me that shit, guys. I'm very annoying. You're annoyed by this guy. Sure. Leave. Pretty frustrated by that. They don't like you, and that's okay.
I don't like them either, so it's fine.
Like I'll be the decider of that. I'll yeet him when I want to. Like, come on. Jesus Christ.
Is the Son of God and our salvation. Amen.
What? Oh, you prayed after I used the Lord's name.
Yeah. No, it's it happens. Even Catholics will do it.
It does. It does. Yeah. Don't take his name in vain. Yeah. I mean, is there anything that we could talk about in reality or no?
Give me some options.
Well, I tried to talk to you about politics, and then you were just you talked about like Jesus.
What about him? I said I like Russell Kirk, traditions and
Sure.
heritage, and I was
Yeah.
saying all of that. Yeah.
And you were mad at me for some reason. You dropped in my mentions and then were like, "You're fucking dumb."
Oh yeah, I was just watching your videos, and I
Yeah.
was like, man, this guy is just like
Sure. And which one did you
what
disagree with?
reality? Oh, which one? Jeez, which
Wait.
one
You
did
just said
I?
I deny reality, bro.
Yes, yes. We live in
One
a
of us
different.
observes reality, and the other one observes reality through the lens of what other people told him to observe it through. So I mean,
Not
that's
That's
okay.
not quite true of the difference.
It's
One
pretty
observes
close.
reality. One observes reality.
It's pretty
The other
close.
understands that observation isn't the only form of information gathering out there, and can understand that there's higher ordered ways of thinking, such as
All right.
reason, that doesn't require observation.
Reason. Okay, so you can't reason through things without applying similar skills to observation, right?
What similar skills?
Okay, so basically you have to be able to deduce the truth through your reasoned discussion, right? It's a similar way that you say you look at like the Galapagos Islands, and you look at the different beak sizes, and you look at how they eat, and you look at how they reproduce, and you can deduce using. You can't see it at the time, but part of the deduction process is reasoning through the problem. Like, why do they have different beak sizes on the Galapagos Islands? Why are they eating different foods? Why do they seem specialized to specific reasons or regions of the islands? And then you can use the reasoning skills bestowed to us by our Lord and Savior. It's a similar process. It's not that different from straightforward observation, because you could just see a bird, and if you don't apply reason, you don't understand why the bird beaks would be in fact different. Of
Well,
course, I'm talking about evolution, but
that's not deductive reasoning. That's inductive reasoning.
sure,
Inductive
right,
reasoning is when you induce from something to something
mm-hmm.
else. Deductive is when something follows necessarily.
Yeah.
Yeah. So like Plato is a man, all men are mortal, therefore Plato is mortal is deductive reasoning.
Mm-hmm.
And you could say whether or not that these things are true based on whatever. Plato is a man. There was a man named Plato. Men are mortal. We do know that. Therefore, Plato is mortal.
Okay.
Right. I don't disagree that there's inductive reasoning and things that you can reason from said observations.
Right. So
sure.
they're not that detached, is what the point is, right?
But well, they're not necessarily always attached.
Okay, but sure. But you're very much you're very much determining what reality is through only one of these tools. Mostly, like most of your reality is in fact just through like the internal reasoning of yourself. Like it has not much to do with observation, or you wouldn't believe that the wine is in fact blood.
You said internal reasoning to the self. Do you think that reason is fundamentally tied to one's ability? Like does in other words,
reasoning is fundamentally tied to one's brain.
Well, in other words, do you think reason exists independently of the self, of the being, that which is reasoning?
What do you mean, the concept of reason or someone's ability to reason?
No, reason. Do you think reason goes beyond that which you are? Can you understand that which that is not yourself?
Oh, like can I understand the concept of the color blue or something? Like,
sure, and that reason
that
you use and that truth that you hold is independent of yourself.
Sure, but it's not independent of the material reality of my brain.
Well, your ability to reason isn't independent. You're right, sure, but
right.
The reason itself,
and so
goes beyond you. It transcends you, right?
Kind of, like, sort of, but not really at the same time because of the way brains work.
Well, okay, but if you're discussing
just because I can conceptualize not me doesn't mean it transcends me. It needs me to do it.
Well, it needs you to do it for yourself. I agree, but the truth can be known independently from you. I gave you an example.
Okay, but we have fundamental different ideas of what truth means.
I don't doubt that, and that's what I'm trying to get at, because I was using an example of deductive reasoning. That is, Plato is a man, all men are mortal, therefore Plato is mortal. That is true independent of my ability to grasp it. It's a statement of truth independent of the
based
self.
on material reasoning. Mortality is
Well,
literally based on material reasoning. You wouldn't know that mortality exists outside of materialism.
well, it's not based in your reasoning. I don't deny that material, you're a material being and you die. But that's independent of one's ability to know, right? You knowing something, you are grasping at something that is not yourself. You understand that, right? Like it transcends the mind, or transcends the physical.
It doesn't.
Well, it does, because the truth is beyond you.
Okay, so a true thing can exist independent of me, but like again, truth is determined by our observation. Like, do you think a dog understands the concept of truth? Right? No.
I
Of
think
course
dog
not.
has some understanding.
But there are true things about a dog. Right?
Yeah,
Right. Okay.
we agree.
Yeah. Okay. So the idea here is that the only reason we know that is materially through our brains. It all comes back to materialism at the end. Like you literally can't have truth outside of like it's like if a tree falls in the woods, does it make a sound kind of shit? Yes, it does. But still, like it's based on material reasoning.
We need our material brains in order to function the way that we do.
Yes.
We're not
so,
disagreeing with that.
Right.
We're
And so
not in
wine
disagreement.
that is simultaneously blood but still wine stands far outside of any form of reasoning.
Well, no, that's not what we're talking about here.
No, but it is
What we're
because it's
saying
untied. It's similar to any other thing, like Jesus rising from the dead, an omniscient God that can make mistakes, like stuff like that. Like
I think you don't believe in universal truth, because what you're saying
define universal truth.
You're saying that my reasoning, I can know the truth of a dog. You can. That's correct. But that truth is independent of you knowing it. It exists whether you or anyone else knows it or not.
Right, I'm aware.
Right?
Okay.
So what your reason is doing, what you're doing with your mind, is you're grasping an intellectual object, to use some poetic language here, that doesn't exist with you.
Right.
It doesn't exist as
you're
part of
you're
your
missing
material.
the point. You're missing the point.
Okay.
The truths, if we use the dog example, or literally anything, a stick, the truth of these things lies materially. The only examples that you have that lie outside of materialism apply directly to your belief in a God that has no material proof.
There are many immaterial truths.
Immaterial truths. You see what I'm saying? Like you're moving outside.
Immaterial.
You're moving
immaterial.
Right. That's what I said. You're moving away from the material to justify the one thing. There's no other things that you do that with. You don't apply that literally anywhere else.
History's immaterial. You don't deny that history's true. It's not a thing you could observe.
You should not have brought that up. Absolutely, some history is not true.
Her ramble was just
oh, whoa.
History.
History
the way we teach it, right? So not like things that actually happened. If you mean things that actually happened, that's not what history is. But history is the written record of human life. So
I'm well aware that some things that
so it's specific,
right,
and it specifically manifests through material means. Again, these are only material things. Like it's not immaterial.
The past is not immaterial. History is not material. You're trying to say that history is this written thing that
history is literally material.
There are literally material books written at other points in time.
Well, no, but not even that. But not even that. We know history exists because yesterday exists, and we can move backwards, and we know that because materially human beings existed, and we know that materially they had brains that could understand what was happening at the time.
Can you do a test on that?
Can you do a test on what?
A physical experiment to prove that yesterday was real?
Yes.
How?
What do you mean? What do you mean how?
How can you test that yesterday was real?
We all experienced yesterday.
That's not a test.
Right, but we can. So what we can do is we can go. Okay, so tomorrow will be the next day's yesterday, right? let's test
Sure.
tomorrow whether or not it exists, and then you can
How do you know
experience it.
tomorrow exists? How do you know even? I mean, what I'm trying to get at is that this idea that everything is material and we could use material examinations, and it's simply not true. It can't even prove
Just
itself.
because something
And
is conceptual doesn't like the idea of the concept of tomorrow is a socialized thing. What really tomorrow is just our circadian rhythm and the movement of the world around the sun as it rotates on its axis, and then we observe tomorrow because the light changed. That's literally material.
yeah.
All of that's material.
There's a sun and there's rotation, and that's how we count days. I get that. What I'm saying
I
is
brought groceries yesterday. Today I still have them. Yeah, I mean,
you can't prove in any sort of experiment that
only in a
yesterday
very
was real.
semantic, dumb way that is for the sake of just disagreeing. There's not really. I mean, you're going full like I think therefore I am like. You're almost like solipsism
I'm not
right
a
now.
dualist.
No,
I'm not a
you're almost going
dualist.
solipsistic, right? Like,
No, not really.
it's
I'm
it's a
simply
little
saying
it's a
to
little
you.
close, but it's fine.
I'm simply saying to you. You can't create any sort of experiment that proves that yesterday was real. Yesterday could be just a massive illusion, or we're brains in a jar, dude.
Okay, so even if we were brains in a jar, we're materially brains that experienced yesterday. But you're
How do you
ignoring
know that
the important thing. This is just bogged down.
you just said experience?
This is
You
like
can't
Babby's.
fundamentally.
This is like philosophy 101 shit, man. Like can we?
It is. I agree.
So can we move on from that? Like,
If you'd like to, sure. I'm
because
just simply
the
saying.
idea here is that you only have a set of beliefs that exist immaterially. There's nothing materially to back them up, except you always use material beliefs for other shit. So why is it different?
There is such a thing as material truth in a metaphysics that goes beyond the material. That is very shocking to you, I'm sure. No, literally, no one denies that things that are material exist and that there can be truths about them.
You literally deny the material existence of the wine being blood wine. Like, what?
I said I never denied the accidents exist. Not once.
You don't understand what I'm saying, I don't think.
No, I do. You just don't understand what I'm saying. I don't deny that the wine is its accident, its properties, when it was consecrated into blood, remain that of wine. And if you are to look at it with a microscope, it would just be wine.
Right,
I
and so you
understand
just
that
feel like it's
accidents
blood.
exist.
You literally just
I
feel like it's
said
blood.
at the very beginning of talking about consecration that this is a dogma that you're just not going to ever agree to from this. It's an article
Right.
of faith.
It's
And I
because
get you don't hold. I understand that.
but it's a broader illustration of the way that you view the world. Like, you literally just assert that it is the thing. There's no reasoning behind it. You literally aren't reasoning it. There's no.
I have
You
said
keep
that
using.
there's entire books on
I'm
theology and
sure.
hylomorphism.
Sure.
Okay.
Yeah,
If
and
you
they're
wanna
not
learn
using
more about,
reason. They're using faith, which isn't
they're
reason.
absolutely using reason. I don't think you do understand
There
reason.
is no reason to believe that it's literally feels.
Okay.
Would I experience any blood, anything if I took consecration? No, of course not. Like, this
Its
is
physical
literally.
properties. It doesn't. No. I mean, you would experience when you take a consecration, sanctifying grace.
I have taken consecration
Okay.
and
There
experienced
is
nothing.
a transformation, partially in the soul. That doesn't necessarily mean that you feel it. You don't have to feel something for it to be real.
Okay, but you just said I would feel it.
I didn't. I know. I was saying that there's a change that can occur. You said, well, when I take the wine, I would just taste the wine, and it wouldn't be like the blood, right? And I'm saying that the substance.
I wouldn't experience a different experience from just drinking wine that wasn't consecrated.
I agree that when it goes into on your tongue, it would just taste like
not
wine,
just tongue, the effects of it, any of it,
No,
anything.
we simply disagree on that. That's what I'm saying.
But I've taken consecration many times.
Okay.
And experienced nothing.
Whoa, that's crazy, dude. I mean, like, I don't know what
Right.
you're trying to. It's an anecdotal. Like, I've taken consecration, and I'm unaware of what sanctifying grace is, and the fundamental change and that goes on with one's soul, and how they lose sanctifying grace when they sin. And it's, I get you don't know that, and like,
Sure.
totally fine.
Okay,
I
so
understand that, and it's not something that you're going to ever agree on, and we
so
both understand that.
again, so if someone doesn't have a functioning brain, are they capable of sin?
I think that if they can't have a fundamental reason, then they probably can't commit sin to some degree. It depends, right? I mean, not everyone necessarily doesn't have a functioning brain totally. Some people are mentally retarded.
Some no,
What
like Terry Schiavo. Do you remember that?
I don't know who that is
So
now.
it was a woman who went through an issue with her brain. She had a brain injury. She was clinically brain dead. There wasn't any activity up there, and her heart was still pumping. Would she be capable of? And she was alive, I guess, alive, air quotes. And they were trying to take her husband was trying to take her off life support because it didn't make sense to keep her on life support. It was against her wishes, but her family wanted them to stay on life support. I'm assuming you would say that it's more moral or ethical to keep her on life support in that situation.
Well, her as far as her ability to sin, she. I'm not a theologian, but I'm assuming that she couldn't because she couldn't use reason, and I don't even think she could do anything. So I don't know how she could possibly commit a sin.
So, are there
Um,
sins that you can commit that aren't due to your own actions?
like a mental being,
Well, like say
like
someone is, I don't know, engages in accidental sodomy.
if it was genuinely accidental,
Sure, like they're
then
asleep. They're
yeah, you
asleep.
didn't both. Yeah, like they were being like forced on or something,
I
or
don't know. Maybe their husband thought it was time to do something. You know what I mean?
well, look, I'm just gonna go with the accident thing. I don't know what the hypothetical is, but whatever, it doesn't really matter. If it's
It's
genuinely
irrelevant.
accidental,
Yeah.
it is. If it was genuinely accidental, then no, it's not a sin.
Okay, so you think that someone could experience sexuality in a way that they didn't think about it? They just genuinely felt that way?
I've said earlier that somebody who is naturally attracted to their same sex is not in a state of sin because they feel
Sure.
an attraction to the same
It's only
sex.
when they like give another
Right.
guy a smooch or something.
When they start acting upon it, yeah.
So can two guys kiss?
Some cultures that kissing on the cheek is very
The
normal.
ramble was just a
What about like Tom? Do you know who Tom Brady is?
No.
Wow, yeah, you don't really do much.
Is that an athlete?
He's a football player and he kisses his kids on the mouth. This is what I was just asking. I don't know when it's
Oh,
gay. Like pretty much is what's the line?
I mean, oof, there's going to be a whole assortment of different
The ramble was
particulars that
just
could
a
affect
gorilla.
that, right? One's kids kissing on the mouth, a little weird to me, but like
I agree. Not a fan.
probably, yeah, a little weird. Probably not sexual.
Okay,
I'm going to assume it's not. I don't assume he has any sexual intent in his heart,
so it
and
has to be
it's
sexual.
innocently. I mean, like I said, there's cultures that kiss on their cheek, right?
Sure.
It's not necessarily something that derives from lust.
Okay.
Um, it doesn't derive from anything like that.
And
It's just a
so
cultural kiss. It doesn't make it a sin.
okay. And so
Not necessarily.
sure. And so how is I guess in this case um why is it that you think the Catholic Church has a problem with sexual deviancy then in your opinion?
It fundamentally goes against the nature of sex,
What does?
sexual deviancy.
No, why do you think the Catholic Church itself has a problem with that?
Like, what do you mean? Like, why it's against
No, no,
sexual
no, no, no,
deviancy?
no, no. Why the Catholic Church has instances in which representatives of the church have
Oh, they commit sins.
rampant. It's pretty bad.
Why?
Like
Why?
like
Why
Catholic
do
priests and
people
stuff.
sin?
I'm wondering why
Yeah,
you
I
think
know
the
what you're
Catholic.
getting at
Sure,
now.
I'm asking why the Catholic Church seems to uniquely have this problem.
Not really. That's not true,
It's
actually.
pretty.
I mean,
It's pretty true.
I'm sure you would agree that many female public school teachers rape their young male students.
Well,
It's actually not a
definitely, but
not little.
it's not nearly as rampant as it is in the Catholic Church.
There's plenty of stuff that goes on in other organizations. Hollywood,
Okay,
that's a
sure.
whole
Sure,
issue.
but they're not
If you're
wholly.
asking me,
So I'm not asking you to make excuses and go what about. I'm asking you literally, why do you think the Catholic Church has a problem with this?
you're asking
Yeah, I'm asking because
why. There's many theories on that. I don't really know why, but I mean, really, what you're saying
I know
is
why, but I'm wondering if you know why.
okay, that's interesting. But I'm saying what you're saying is why do priests sin? Why do people do bad
No,
things?
it's not a sin. It's
It's
not like going
it
like,
is.
god damn it. It's like it's rape.
It's a different type of sin.
It's a
Yeah,
much more
sure.
severe
All
type of
sins,
sin, obviously. And
not
so
all sins, yeah.
what?
Not all sins are the same. Yeah.
Right. And so I'm wondering why the Catholic Church has such a problem with this. Like
I
what do you think it lies in? Like cuz there's a lot of high-level clergy members within the Catholic Church that have an issue with sexual immorality, we'll just call it that. It's not uniquely a Catholic thing, but it is much more statistically likely in Catholicism that high-level members will do such a thing rather than like a teacher, which it happens a couple times a year. In which case, the Catholic Church is kind of literally um, um, it has like a whole system within it to move these priests around. I mean, if you just look at someone like Boston, it has dozens of situations like that.
Yeah.
And so I'm
There's a
wondering why
problem.
you, yeah, absolutely. And so I'm wondering
I mean,
why in a system where you're coming out of this system, and I'm wondering why you think it has such a unique problem.
yeah, I said I don't. I mean, I've heard of things like what you're talking about, the Lavender Mafia. Um, I don't. There's nothing about I am just laity. My position is to go. My duties are to go to church and to just follow it and be as virtuous and live my life as a Catholic as possible.
Okay.
I don't know this whole
And
inner circuit. You're right, though. You're absolutely right that there's this moving around and there's these big scandals. Yeah, they happen.
and so I have I guess two things to say about that. So the first off, I'm wondering why you. I'm wondering why you value that specifically over your own personal freedoms. And then hold on, and then I would assert that the Catholic Church has this problem due to its incredible repression of sexual related desires and discussions, and the fact that instead of educating people about sexuality, it's a thing that is often swept under the rug and dismissed as sin rather than having an actual discussion about it from a human and social perspective. So,
Oh, well, look. Pope Francis has said quite correctly that the
well, I thought
position
we were
that
supposed to listen to him.
well, I'm not saying he's right just because he's the Pope and he says X,
Okay,
but
but he's right
he is
because
right
you
when he says that
because you agree. He's right because you agree.
he's right because there's a dogma of the church that we know and
That you
there's
agree
things that
with. Okay.
aren't dogmas by the church independently of whether I agree with them or not. I'm not a
Sure.
heretic. I do agree with them. My point is there's nothing dogmatic about saying is not an article of faith to where a priest have to be celibate. It could be. I think the Eastern churches do this, where like the Byzantium or whatever, allow priests to get married, right? It could be the case that changes. Now, whether that would be an overall good or bad is kind of independent of the question of whether it can or can't happen. It can happen.
So do you think celibacy plays a role then?
Um, I don't know because the question is right. Like you're talking about rape, so I'm assuming you mean the underage stuff, the whatever.
Sure.
At a certain point,
Doesn't
all
necessarily have to
priests,
be that, but yes.
any priest who is charged with the duty of celibacy, um, fails that, whether it's consensual or not, has fundamentally failed.
Uh-huh.
I mean, they've done something they're simply not allowed to do. And similarly, if they were married and they committed adultery,
Uh-huh.
then they can't do that either. They just fundamentally failed. Would allowing priests to get married fix the underage stuff? I don't know. Maybe. I'm not even against the idea.
Okay, so do you think someone might be drawn to the Catholic Church because of the way it protects pedophiles?
I don't know. I don't know.
You don't?
I mean, it's certainly hypothetically possible. I don't deny.
Doesn't that seem at least intuitive?
Not intuitive, but it's something that could be there.
Okay.
I don't disagree that the church position can change on priests being able to get married. Right?
Well, we're not really talking about that. We're talking about how they protect pedophiles.
Sure, and neither one of us agree that they ought to.
Right. Yet that is the church's position.
I am very well aware that things are not perfect in the church.
So you are capable. Hold on. So this. I brought this up specifically to illustrate this point. You are capable of understanding, materially speaking, that rape is wrong, and that it is wrong uniquely under the church that supports it, and allocates resources, lots of them, to protect pedophiles within its ranks. You are capable of independently, apart from the church's stance on this, you are independently able to be like, that is a bad thing the church does. But you are not able to independently go, the church might be maybe misrepresenting other things. Maybe the church isn't 100% reliable insofar as my beliefs are concerned. You have no skepticism towards the church in any other category except for this one. And it seems interesting to me that you're capable of reaching this conclusion, but you're not capable of going, might be a little sus elsewhere within the Catholic Church.
That's not actually what I said. I never denied that things that aren't dogmatic can be wrong. I said that I adhere to the dogma of the church, and there are certain things that are dogma that you adhere to when you're a Catholic. Now, I don't know if you know the difference between a Thomist and an Augustinian. All right, there's a very rich debate going on there between the two. You're allowed to be a Thomist, you're allowed to be an Augustinian. They don't agree on everything. They have profound disagreements. They both adhere to the fundamentally what it means to be Catholic, though. So when you say, well, you don't disagree with anything, but the church might be not correct in these things. Yeah, I think that there's certain things that are dogmatic that are true automatically, and I think there are things that aren't dogmatic that could be wrong depending on certain factors. Sure, no one's denied that. I think you got me in this sort of gotcha moment.
No, not really. I'm just wondering why. I'm more fascinated by your capability of skepticism in certain areas where there's a clear moral line, and inability for skepticism where there's less of a clear line.
You're wondering why I'm skeptical about things that are uncertain, and not skeptical about things that are certain.
Well,
I think that's kind of obvious why I'm not skeptical about things that are certain.
Right, but so you're saying if something's not certain, you just have no skepticism about it. If it's
I'm saying that when things are certain, I don't have skepticism about them. Why would I? There's a dogma that holds to the truth.
So why?
There's nothing for me to be skeptical about.
So why would you not? Okay, so if every single day your dad brings you a Tootsie Roll home from work, right? Every single day. Your whole life, you're 35 years old. You're still living in your mom's basement or whatever, and then so
I'm sure that's me over you.
Well, I own this house, so so you have no skepticism that someday he might not, just because he wrote it down in a book. You know what I'm saying? Like it's. I understand it's dogmatic.
The church is a living structure.
Sure. So
it's not some book in which, because this is like an argument that might work with a prod.
It's not only sure. It's not just because of the book. I'm just saying like him. Like okay, he has a church structure behind him. Like so when the dogma changes, and it does change.
Okay. Yeah.
You agree, since it's a living structure, that dogma changes over time.
I never said I agree that dogma changes because it's a living structure.
So you don't wait. You don't think the dogma of the church has ever changed?
I'm saying that the fact that it's a living structure.
Hold on, wait. You don't think the dogma has ever changed?
I'm getting to my point, bud. I'm saying that the fact that there's a living structure is fundamentally different than the argument you made that it's just some old book in which my dad wrote something.
Sure, but
right? There is a fundamental difference there. Your analogy simply fails.
Well, it only fails because you don't believe in the Church of God Dad Tootsie Rolls. So it
What?
that has existed for thousands of years, right? So if
What?
I'm just saying, like if you had a religion where your dad brings you Tootsie Rolls every day for thousands of years, you would have no skepticism to it because you have the same application towards your faith right now. It was an example to show you how silly it is.
I'm saying that there's that the church's dogmas come from the church, informed through its scripture and its traditions,
Right, and
and
stuff
it's a
like the
living
second
church that makes statements. It's not
Vatican
some book.
reforms are things.
Yeah, the Vatican II
Okay,
did
so
happen. That was crazy.
the dogma changes.
What dogma changed in Vatican II?
I mean, there's lots of things that
It was a
changed.
conciliar council. It created the Novus Ordo. Yeah, we don't agree, but what dogmas changed?
We don't agree. What do you mean?
I know we agree that changes occurred. The Novus Ordo happened, right? Like we agree. Yeah, changes happened. I have anti-trad in my bio. I'm not even really against the Novus Ordo.
Okay.
But what dogmas from Vatican II? What changed? What dogmas changed from Vatican II?
Oh, I have no idea. I'm just saying,
Okay.
I'm just saying, like,
Because that was your whole
changed.
argument. That was your whole argument. That dogmas changed.
They've literally the Catholic the Catholic Church has literally changed like what's canonical within the Bible, and the Church before that has changed what's canonical
very
within the
simple
Bible.
Question: what dogmas changed during Vatican II?
I don't know.
Do you know?
No,
I know you don't know.
No,
because you used a really bad analogy in comparison that just shows that you fundamentally fail to understand.
I guess maybe, but it's kind of irrelevant.
About.
So how about this? How about this?
It's not.
How about
it's
this?
really not
how about
irrelevant.
This? How about this? It is relevant, but what if a dogma changed?
Scully Rose.
Okay.
I'm sorry. Can you hear me?
What if a dogma changed?
I'm asking you, can you name a time it did?
It doesn't matter. What if it did?
It kind of does.
It's really irrelevant because it
really isn't.
The church has literally changed what is not canonical within the not only the text, but even determining what should be Catholic practice moving on. You literally just said the difference is in the Eastern Orthodox. You've said there's differences all along. So what really fundamentally, if a dogma changed, would you follow the new dogma or would you stay with the old dogma? Even if the church left you behind, like as far as what they're going to move forward with.
Oh, well, I guess it depends, but I would probably join Pope Michael at that point. I would probably say that Pope Michael's correct if that were to happen, yeah.
Oh,
I would be a conclavist. I would join the Holy See of Topeka, Kansas.
Okay.
And I would join Pope Michael.
All right. Okay. So that's really what the point is, right? So you wouldn't entertain the idea of something changing.
I'm asking you just to name, like examples of it.
Examples of what?
The dogma's changing. I'm asking you. You mentioned Vatican II, right? Like you and I understand why you did as an outsider. The church,
sure.
the mass looks different. The Novus Ordo was created. That didn't change any dogmas.
Okay. Then I misunderstood.
No dogmas.
Then I misunderstand what that is. That's fine. I'm capable of
that. Yeah, and that is fine. But okay. I'm trying to explain to you.
But it's not relevant to the conversation. The point was
it kind of is because you don't get the structure and you don't understand.
Literally the point is when you do or do not apply skepticism to your own belief system, which is never, because in this scenario you just went, no, I will not be skeptical of the thing I believed prior. I will go to another place that still believes that same thing.
I was thinking, you probably don't know who Pope Michael is, but my Twitter people know who Pope Michael is.
But even beyond that, what would you do? If dogma changed.
I guess I would join the SSPX. I would become a seed vacantes.
Okay, so I'm seriously asking though. Like I don't know.
And I'm seriously trying to answer.
Your answer is it's never happened.
I'm trying to get you to realize, like, a dogma is just it's not something that you think it is. And I get what your point is about skepticism, which I've said,
So if the
right?
church,
Like
if
I've
the church,
said,
because you literally they have changed positions on things, but you disagree with those. So I'm wondering why you have skepticism for certain aspects.
and I said, the skepticism is fine in places in which there are things that are
So what? How do you
uncertain.
define dogma? Because it's clear that we have a different. It's
I just look up dogmas of the Catholic Church.
a principle or set of principles laid down by an authority as incontrovertibly true. Yeah, exactly. That's what I thought. Right.
Go. There's entire books on what the
Well, we're not
dogmas
going to
are.
read a book right now. I have you
I
on.
know we're
So,
not.
so
I
what
get
we're
that.
what we're going to do is have you say, "Hey, this is what a dogma is. What do I disagree with?" An incontrovertibly true thing as agreed upon by the authority therein, which would, of course, be the Pope and the cardinals. Although you tend to disagree with that, so I'm wondering what you think is the difference between my definition
Well, I've
and
never
yours.
said the Pope doesn't have any authority.
Well, no, I didn't say you didn't say he had none. I just said you disagreed with him, and so therefore you just went your own way with it. But
Well, I said him as a personal theologian could have said something,
he's
and
like
that
the.
doesn't necessarily make it true.
So is he the vessel through which God speaks, or no?
When he's speaking as Pontiff, when he's speaking as himself as a person, no.
Okay, so you don't think that God could tell him something that you disagree with?
I think that there's a place for papal infallibility, and I adhere to it. But not all places are a place of papal
Okay, so
infallibility.
what if the Pope said, God told me that trans people are valid? What would you say?
Wow, that's what I would say.
Okay, and then
I
and
would say,
then and then
wow.
after the initial shock, and then the
Uh-huh.
church, the
Well, it
church.
would never go away. I'd be in such
Okay,
shock.
okay. So the shock is there, the initial shock. The rest of it settles in. Eventually, you're gonna get over it, and you're not gonna die. You're not gonna have a panic attack or anything
Mm,
because trans people are
mm.
valid.
There are people who exist with gender dysphoria and suffer a burden.
Sure,
Whoa, that's insane.
right,
I've never thought that was
but
real.
not
That would
only
be my surprise.
but not only that the church advocates transition, it advocates all of the things that I agree with, but through the Catholic Church. Okay, what if the Catholic Church adopts a pro-trans position? Okay, are you capable of getting to that point?
The church already has a pro-trans position.
The church in the part that you think is necessary for you to believe that trans people are valid in the way that I believe it, whatever that would be, however that would manifest, whatever that would take for the church to say it in a way that you would think that's church law or whatever the fuck you need. You need whatever you need it to be. And it agrees 100% with me. Could you ever get to the point where you agree that is reasonable?
I am saying that hypothetical is impossible
Why?
because the church already has a position on people who have transgender, and it is inclusive. The position is they should become Catholic and learn how to live with their burdens, and we as a society should try to help them live with that the best we can.
Okay. And
But it's not
we as a
one that
society say that
denies
transition is the correct way to do it.
that's wrong because it
Okay.
goes against
So
their very nature.
okay.
The Catholic Church doesn't hold that position.
So can you? Oh, okay. So what if the Catholic Church no longer held that position? What if the Catholic Church said it does not defy your nature to be trans, and to go through
To
the
actively transition from male to female, right? Or female to male,
sure, or
doesn't
just
matter.
to live like, I mean, you have a different you don't understand transition in the way that I'm talking about, but that's fine. However that manifests in your head, what if the church said it is not a denial of that person's nature to do so? What would your position be after that point?
That would be just not true, and it would be
Okay,
not possible
so you would no longer
because
be a Catholic, or what?
it's not possible is what I'm explaining to you, right? Like as a
It's
Catholic, I know you
certainly
won't
it's
believe this.
certainly
No,
possible.
it's not,
It's
and I'll
pretty
tell you
possible.
why. And it's not something you're going to agree with.
Okay,
But a Catholic believes that the church is fundamentally protected by
by
God. It does not err.
okay, God
It
Himself.
will never err, and
It,
it will never
it will
do
never
that.
error. They literally fuck
Yes.
kids sometimes.
people do bad things.
And the church,
Whoa,
the
bro,
Vatican,
that's crazy.
and the Vatican itself protects it. Like, so why would God allow that situation?
That's crazy.
It's
That's definitely what I
strange.
mean. That's definitely the same thing as you talking about the church creating a position on something, right?
Yeah,
like
the church's position
a fundamental dogma.
The church's
a fundamental
fundamental
dogma to the church, bro.
The church's fundamental dogma on how to teach or how to deal with pedophiles is to support them, move them around, and ignore the problem.
You don't know what a dogma is, dude.
That's literally how they treat it. So why would they treat it any differently?
You freaking idiot.
I mean, it seems to be the dogma.
It seems to be a way that they're acting. Therefore, it must be a dogma because that is how dogmas work.
I mean, sure.
That's a good argument, bro.
That's fun. Hey, look. Hey.
That's a good argument, dude.
Yeah. So I'm wondering.
I'm just not Catholic anymore, bro. I'm going to transition tomorrow.
So, well, if you have,
let's do it, dude. Let's transition together.
I'm not trans. If you have a.
We're all trans. We're all going to be trans.
What?
Let's go. What were you saying? I'm sorry.
That's not how anything works. If you have an incongruency between how you feel as a human being and how you are perceived, I hope that you figure that out for yourself, because that would be the best way to live your life, is to live
already informed
happy.
If I suffered from that, how to do it, and it would just be to suffer and not worry about it, because at some point you go to heaven. Things aren't fair. And you have a burden. That's terrible.
I don't.
Like you live in this world, man.
I do live in the real world. I do. It's
this world where
pretty wild.
Bad burden bad, and we should just not have bad burden.
Wait, no. So it's not about not having burden. It's about maximizing well-being. So we have a different
You maximize well-being when you just fundamentally lie to people. You tell them that it's okay.
Wait. Are all lies bad? Wait. Let's say it is a lie. It's not a lie, but let's say it is a lie. Are all lies bad?
For the most part, I don't know of any exceptions. I'll say that.
Okay, so what if there's a bunch of kids and they're screaming and they're running away behind me. They're running past me and they run behind me. And a little tick goes by. And then someone coming up with a chainsaw and a hockey mask runs up and he goes, "I'm looking for the little kids. Where are they?" And then you only have two choices. You can choose to point him towards the kids or point him away. So would you lie in that situation?
That's not a lie, because there's no malicious intent.
What? A lie
is not necessary.
A lie does not necessitate malicious intent. What's the malicious intent behind? What's the malicious intent behind? I feel like a man. What's the malicious intent? What is the malicious intent?
I've never said somebody who feels like a man or a woman is lying.
You literally said that being trans was a lie just a second ago.
I'm not saying that, like, they don't really feel to themselves in their brain.
Okay, and then you said a lie. Then you said it was a lie, and then you said a lie necessitates malicious intent.
I said when you tell them,
you're dumb.
Oh, you don't even know what I'm talking about, but I'm dumb?
You're dumb.
I'm saying when you tell the other person that, oh, yeah, you could just transition. Yeah, that is a lie.
Okay, so what if no other
I'm not saying it's committing a sin.
So what if a trans person... It's
not good for them.
Okay, so what if a trans person never says, okay, you can transition? What if a trans person just wants to be happy about themselves for their own well-being?
I would say that to be happy is to live the best life,
and their best life,
to the nature,
and their best,
and
their best
the
life,
truth of external reality that's known through natural reason, and that is that you're a male or a woman, and you're
a male or a female,
man or a woman, doesn't matter.
Well, man or woman is different than male or female, but that's okay because you don't understand it. It's okay.
It's not, but okay. And you're going to adhere to that. And that's just the way it is. And you might say, well, that sucks. And okay, it does suck. I get it sucks.
Yeah, okay.
A lot of things suck.
Yeah.
Life sucks.
Something. My life is fucking dope. So, and here, the reason is I'm not a Catholic that's self-hating. So the situation here is basically, you disagree with the concept of well-being. and you think that you need to suffer whatever burdens you happen to have in order to, and you just have to endure them as part of some sort of piety test, which is super dumb. Instead of mitigating your suffering throughout life, you can do both and still accomplish your goal of heaven at the end. There's literally nothing there. I feel really fucking sorry. I feel super sorry for you and super bad for your. I don't know. You say you have an audience. You didn't have many followers on Twitter. Or maybe you just don't use it. But
I didn't say I have an audience. I have like 900 followers and some of them agreed to watch this. Hence why I said my audience, as they are not your audience.
Right, but
I'm sorry that concept is just simply too hard for you to figure out, let alone truths of the church and why certain suffering can be alleviated and others can't.
You're very excited.
You have
That's cute, but also it was because your fans or whoever you said was mad when I said a few of you will show up. He was pretty upset when I said that a few of you will show up, and he's like, a few, and I have like 700 people here. So it's like I was just wondering, and then so
I don't care.
I don't care either. I don't care either. It's not a popular.
What does that
contest.
even mean here, dude?
It's
my audience. I'm not some guy who goes on Twitch.
Right, wait, what is happening? What is happening to your mouth?
Oh, I'm eating a cough drop. I'm sorry.
Oh, so I guess I feel sorry for you and those people that showed up, because you're living in a situation where material reality has a fundamental rejection of a lot of the things you believe, and that can be pretty rough, because when you believe something and it's not congruent with any of the other things that you experience, there could be some cognitive dissonance there, and then you got to kind of pick a side, and you picked, in my opinion, and the opinion of pretty much most reasonable people, the wrong one. And it's sad because now you're going through life with these burdens, and these burdens are things like homosexuality. These things are burdens like transness, but these
I suffer from these, yeah. Yeah, but, you're right, dude.
Well, not you specifically, but other Catholics obviously do, and some other burdens that you may not be able to get over. Maybe like just that you want to have sex before marriage. Maybe you have sexual urges. Maybe you have I don't know. You have
how God real if touching pee feel good, right?
Has nothing to do with whether God's real or not. It just has
how God real if I can't do things that feel good. I mean, why is thing bad if feel good? I mean, this is like Reddit tier, dude.
Again, I don't have a. So this isn't about me disproving God. This is about how I feel about you and the people that like you. And frankly, other Catholics now. I have a lot of sympathy for this. It's a problem that I see a lot. A lot of people are apostates, obviously, in my community, and they come from. I don't know why you're posturing, dude. Like, this is like weird, but just like
I'm following. I'm letting you know that I'm listening.
Sure.
By saying,
I mean, you're also doing this like chest beating thing, which, I mean, I understand why you'd have to like. You feel the desperate need to chest beat a little bit and show that you're confident in your faith and stuff, and that's fine, and I get it, and that makes a lot of sense. We're on the internet, and you
right.
Okay. All right. And over time, how this tends to manifest in people, it seems to be the case that a lot of Catholics, especially a lot of ex-Catholics, have this overwhelming, I guess you could call it anxiety about oneself. They tend to experience a lot of shame because a lot of the things that you can do under hardline Catholicism is not ideal. You're not supposed to be doing these things. You're threatened with hell. You have to do a lot of confession, and it's not usually helpful confession. It's usually I did a thing, and then you have to say some prayers or some Hail Marys, and you're over it. It's not really actual therapy, although you can seek that out, and I'm sure a lot of upper crust Catholics can at least talk to you about some stuff, but a lot of it boils down to trust God and the plan, shit like that. Because like you said, you bear a burden, whatever the burden might be, whether it's not you, it's like kind of the royal you. A person could bear a burden, and then cool, that sucks, life is pain, and then you die and go to heaven. When the reason you tend to believe that thing seems to be fundamentally flawed. What is wrong with mitigating suffering in a material life?
I was explaining this, that certain sufferings can be alleviated by things that are proper to do. I can take medicine if my head hurts. I don't have to suffer through a headache if I don't want to.
But you have to
right?
suffer through gender dysphoria.
There are certain things that you can't do to alleviate suffering.
Like what?
You can't kill yourself to alleviate suffering.
Sure.
For example, you can't transition to alleviate suffering.
Why?
There are certain things that are because it's sinful. You're trying to fundamentally deny your nature that exists in the external reality.
So can you get a
independent
tattoo?
of your psychological state?
So
I think you can get a tattoo.
Can you get a piercing?
That doesn't really try to deny your nature.
Can you go to the tanning booth?
That doesn't really deny your nature, though.
Can you get like colored contact lenses that change your
That doesn't
eyes?
deny your nature, no.
What
because
what about these things? What about these things don't?
manifestations-
Okay, how about something even more extreme? Can you change your arm out with a prosthetic?
Yeah, that doesn't deny your nature, though.
What's okay? So what's your nature?
Oh, your nature is male or female, whichever.
So
one.
your
This
nature is
gender
only tied to
dysphoria.
maleness or femaleness.
If you're a male, it's tied to being a man.
So
yeah,
my
you have the
nature
of a
is man. I have no other aspects of
You're a
myself
human.
that are
You're a
inherent to my
human.
nature.
You're a human, and males and females share humanity.
Okay, so what if I'm a man and I just happen to want to express more femininely? Can I do that?
Like what? Like talk with a lisp and use a purse?
Do women talk with lisps?
I'm asking you if you want to express yourself. I imagine you don't have a deep voice. I don't think you have that much testosterone, but you don't sound like a girl.
Okay, I guess I don't have a deep voice. That's fine. Do you think that I could wear a dress and not deny my nature?
You can't cross dress because it is.
So I can't cross dress. So what about
under certain circumstances you can?
So what about like an Irish person wearing a kilt, which is basically a man dress?
That's cultural. Men in
what if
Ireland wear kilts? That's not
okay. So
cross-dressing.
This is good. So what if over time our culture changes to where men can wear dresses?
If the culture changes to where men wear dresses, it's not denying your nature as a man to wear a dress.
So we're there right now.
No, we're really not there, and that's an
we really are there.
It is. I will grant you.
We're literally there right now.
It's a very interesting question.
We're there right now.
I will grant you something. Culture certainly does change. I know that's shocking.
Cultures change.
Cultures can change to where people wear certain things. Right?
Sure. Okay.
A kilt. You
sure. So
it.
Yeah, so you agree. So there's the superficial. So now, what if the culture changes? Because you said earlier, you agreed that there's other cultures that don't agree that there's only two genders. But the culture has changed. We don't agree that calling someone that wears a dress and has a penis that doesn't express masculinity.
No, you're not understanding.
So wait. As a man, do I have to express masculine all the time? Like, do I have to express as masculine as possible, or is there a threshold? Can I ever not be masculine?
I don't really know what that means, but I think
you're
confusing. I think
no. This is literally no. This is literally just presentation.
Excuse me.
No, it's literally just presentation. Because
you're very confused about something, and you don't know what I'm talking about. And it's kind of my fault. I should have clarified, so I'd like to.
Okay.
When I said cultures can change to where men wear dresses, and then you said, well, that's happening right now.
It literally is.
The dresses that men wear
aren't different.
They're designed for female bodies, in which they are wearing.
Wait.
That's not the same thing as a culture adapting to have a dress for a man. Wait. The intended purpose of a dress that a woman wears is not the same thing that a man would wear.
So if I put on a lady's wedding dress, that's a sin?
If you're trying to pass off as a woman.
So wait. What if I'm a man in a wedding dress? Is that a sin?
Are you doing a play, or is it
No, I just want to wear a wedding dress.
You want to wear a wedding dress walking around?
Sure.
You can't just deny your nature for.
Wait. What part of wait? Where in the Bible or in the Catholic Church does it say that it's part of your nature to wear certain articles of clothing?
I said it's part of your nature to adhere to that which is considered masculine, and that might manifest
Do I need to be
differently.
Wait.
That might
again. No.
That might manifest.
Where in the Bible or in the Catholic Church's broader spectrum of dogma and rules, does it say that men need to express masculinely?
They say that there are certain duties that exist bound to your nature as a man that are different than duties
And is
existing bound to the
masculinity
nature of a woman.
is expressing socially masculine qualities one of those things?
That which is feminine and that which is masculine manifests itself differently in different cultures.
Right.
Right.
So
no, literally,
it,
no one denies this.
okay.
But that's a fundamental agreement.
Hold on. So I'm not a piece of corn. Is this okay?
Do you think you're a piece of corn?
No, I just said what? I'm wearing a corn suit. No.
Yeah. Do you think you're a piece of corn?
Would it matter?
Yeah. You know what? It would matter.
Oh, okay.
If you thought you're a piece of corn and you were
then
sitting there thinking, or if you thought you were a piece of crap and you wanted to wear that because it would be apt,
okay.
Then yeah,
right.
I guess it would be a sin.
Oh, okay. Sick burn. What we got a joke now. So what if so Jesus wore sort of dresses? Is that okay? Because it's not culturally manly to wear what Jesus wore when he did. If he descended from heaven now and started rapturing people, leaving you behind because the Protestants are right, would that be okay for him to wear his man dress?
I think when Jesus comes back,
he's going to be in blue jeans and a flannel shirt.
Yeah, dude. Have you ever seen Action USA, Chuck Norris?
No, I have.
It's a Canon film. It's a Canon film. It's a Canon film, bro. Watch it. He's going to come back. He's going to have dual Uzis.
No, but I'm serious.
He's going to come down, roundhouse kicking the heathens.
Right. So what I'm saying is, you
Canon film, by the way, Scully Rose was a film company that produced many action movies
no one cares.
over the 80s and 90s. Death Wish was a very famous Canon film.
Sure, not a terribly biblical film, but that's fine. So would you agree that masculinity is more performative than, like, do you think what's a particular, so Chuck Norris, particularly masculine man that you just brought up?
Oh, hyper masculine.
Okay,
yeah,
so Chuck Norris is hyper masculine and you love him. Which is not gay.
Not
Chuck Norris.
Phila is not the same thing as Eros.
Sure, whatever you said, nerd.
That does. I know you know that you don't know what that means.
Whatever you got. Hey, man, if you want to talk like that, that's totally fine with me.
I know you don't know basic Greek concepts of love. I know you don't know that.
Hey, man, why would I?
This is why I called you a basic freaking little bitch. Yeah, you don't know anything, bro. I'm sorry, but just read something.
The Greeks fucked boys.
Oh my gosh, they did?
You're using gay words, bro.
And Eros, Phila and Eros don't exist because some Greeks did something.
No, but it was only in the way that you would fuck Chuck Norris. So
it's whoa, dude. Yeah. I mean, Philadelphia is literally called Philadelphia, the city of brotherly love.
Yes.
Phila. Whoa, that must be the same thing as Eros, which refers to the erotic type of love that is expressed between a man and a woman.
Are we just doing etymology stuff? Like, that's pretty weird. But like, so I'm wondering, at what point are you done with the idea of masculinity being performative? Like how much masculinity do you think is performative? Like having a beard, right? I can shave my beard and I would definitely be less masculine. But
yeah, you would. That's what masculinity is. It's growing a beard.
Well, yeah, the performative aspect of masculinity, yes, is.
Yeah, it totally is. Yep. That's what duties are as a man. Wait,
no. We're talking about
men.
No, buddy, you gotta shut the fuck up. So it's very different. It's very different between the idea of performative masculinity and then being masculine, right? So performative masculinity is what I'm talking about because we were just talking about dresses, right? So do you think that performative masculinity has anything to do with your actual identity as a man?
I think that you're not a man unless you look like Chuck Norris. I think if you don't have the beard, the mullet, the denim jeans that you could roundhouse kick in, these are performative things. That's what it means to be a man. Yeah, definitely.
So you
Like if you can't do a roundhouse kick, bro,
Sure, man.
maybe you should be forced
So
to
I thought
trench
you
it.
wanted to talk about the trans issue, man. I mean, that's what we're doing right now. But
Well, we're talking about it. You're right. Yeah.
yeah,
And I'm
you're
saying
refusing to engage.
if you can't,
No, no. I'm just gonna like, dude. We're just
have masculine.
not. You're still going.
Yeah.
That.
Thank you.
That. There we go.
Waiting for a point there, bud.
Yeah. So the point is specifically talking about how you said if I wear a wedding dress or something and I really like how it makes me feel or something, that's a sin. So I'm wondering at what point is like what's your line for masculinity, and when like it seems like you have a big hang up with this, and it's very strange to me. Because again, the church and the Bible don't mention this. They don't talk about masculinity or femininity, or they don't talk about how one should experience gender. They talk about specifically having the sex with another man.
Okay.
So
that's crazy.
Okay, well, I mean, if I'm wrong, I would love to know how the.
I mean, we just said a little bit ago that the church is a living thing, and we don't adhere. I'm not a prot who has to adhere to this sola scriptura, in which I only understand things derived directly from the Bible. Though Deuteronomy talks about.
I said not just the Bible. I said the church.
Yeah, but the church might also say things about cross-dressing and masculinity and duties. Yes.
Okay, so what do you consider cross-dressing?
There are certain conditions in which cross-dressing, dressing as if you are not a man and you are a man, or a woman dressing like a man, is permissible. One example is Saint Joan of Arc. She dressed like a man to avoid rape when she was imprisoned. That is absolutely acceptable.
Okay, but what if she felt pretty? What if she felt pretty in a pair of slacks? Not cool?
There's no evidence for that. If she did that,
it's irrelevant to whether there's evidence for it. I'm asking you if she could wear pants.
You're trying to ask, no, because your question is just trying to nibble at the edges, and
it's not nibbling at the edges. It's pretty fundamental to the idea of gender and sex.
She felt pretty in pants.
Yeah, so can
is
a
she
woman
trying to pass as like a guy? Is she like this is what I'm saying.
So Mulan,
you're trying to nibble at
when you watch Mulan, do you just when you watch you're being muted, bro. When you just don't shut the fuck up. So when you watch the Disney movie Mulan, do you just seethe with rage when she like changes that, or is it because she's trying to pass herself off as a soldier and that's fine?
Oh, I loved Mulan.
Okay, so and that's okay.
It was a good movie. Did you know? Here's a fun fact.
No, I don't give a shit. So, what if? I'm interested in why you can't do something that just makes you feel good.
Because that's not some gauge of morality. Like I said.
Wait. What is it? Immoral? What's the immoral action when if I were to put on a dress? What's immoral about it?
About this with you.
But you literally haven't said what's immoral about it. You said that the church doesn't like it.
No, I've said if you try to cross-dress, try to deny your nature as a man by putting on a dress, then yes, it is a sin.
So would you say, okay, wait, denying my nature.
Wait.
Denying my nature, but it has to be specifically, are there any other circumstances where denying my nature doesn't run into the question of sex or gender, and that is impermissible?
Like what? I don't
know. Wearing a scuba suit.
General question, dude. I don't.
Right. So it seems your only hangups have to do with a man or a woman wearing clothing that would make them look not that, with the intention to not look like that. So
yep, that's the only hang up. I mean, unless you can't roundhouse kick like Chuck Norris.
Sure. Besides your
if you don't have muscles like Arnold, dude, like what are you?
Your Dave Rubin level commentary is very appreciated, but I'm wondering.
That's better than yours.
Sure,
you do this for a living.
I did pretty successfully. It's pretty okay.
That's surprising.
It's not that surprising, but that's okay.
I suppose that's right, because your audience don't seem like the smartest people.
That's okay. I can't imagine that you exist materially enough in reality to ascertain whether or not someone is intelligent. So
I bet the followers that from my Twitter that are here
Have a higher
and plus
IQ.
me, yeah, if we were to collect the average IQ
If we did an
of you
IQ
and your
test.
followers versus me and my followers, I'm pretty sure, dude, you're like just classic midwit. And they must be lower to you than you because they're following you.
Wow, that's pretty good. So anyway, like, I'm wondering if you can wear like a scuba suit. Can you wear a diving bell?
Dude, if you're okay.
So what
You're
you
in the
literally
bath.
haven't set the boundary of.
If I'm answering. If you're in a tub at your home and you're not in a scuba suit, I'm pretty sure you should be burned at the stake.
That's a good
Like,
question. Should we burn witches?
that is just. Well, we did before, right?
That's what I'm asking. Do you think that's good?
Well, we don't really deal with this things then as we do now, right?
Wait, do you think witches were real?
Are witches real? Like, do I think that there's magic that somebody can cast, like Harry Potter? Dude,
No.
am I like Voldemort?
Witches
and
in the way,
like,
witches in the
you,
way,
Harry?
witches in the way the Salem witch trials went down.
Like, is
Do you think that's a reasonable? Like, do you think that's a thing?
is Hogwarts a thing, bro?
So you
Like,
don't think witches are real?
this is just, dude.
Yeah. So okay.
Is
So
9 3/4 the answer to all of our problems?
I don't know what that is.
Who's
a reference
Ron? Who's Ron?
All
Bro,
right.
have you even watched Harry Potter? Like, come on, dude.
To. No, I'm not a huge Harry Potter fan, but that's okay.
That's your problem. Cringe.
Okay. So. All right.
What I'm saying is the Catholic Church is like Thanos, and they snapped sin out of existence. Right? Like, this is how lefties their entire thing of reality is funneled through pop media. I've never watched the Avengers, so I'm trying my best here. And that was a good thing, that sin was snapped out of existence. That's what I'm saying. Look at the chat, dude.
Yeah, they yeah.
Did you ever say Ruth Conda forever?
You are
Have you made the
you are uniquely without you live uniquely outside of reality, which is interesting to me.
Yeah, says the guy who spends all of his day online.
I don't spend
Has no sense of community and is completely rootless.
Wait.
Yeah, that's you.
That's
yeah.
interesting. Wait. No, I would. That's finally an interesting topic. Community. That's fascinating. So, are you opposed to communism?
Yeah.
Oh, interesting. Why do you want it in heaven?
Is heaven the same thing as the physical world? Like,
Heaven
bro,
is definitely communist.
Is heaven the same thing as the physical world?
And definitely communism. I mean, it's in the name. Community.
Whoa,
yeah.
that's dude.
If we're
it's
doing
also,
the etymology stuff,
bro, that's crazy.
It's I'm just
that's freaking crazy.
Yeah,
dude.
so I'm wondering about what the aspects of communism you don't like if you want most of those things in heaven.
So
a wealthless society, right? I'm not a communist, by the way. I just think it's interesting that people that like heaven, that believe in heaven and desire that sort of thing, are uniquely communist in a more of an extreme way than even communists that exist on the material reality world.
You watch PragerU
from time to time. So I'm wondering.
Jesus was a capitalist.
So Jesus.
He told that guy who needed money to get a loan.
Jesus
he
definitely
told that
wasn't
guy,
a capitalist.
He told that
but
guy to
even beyond, I'm wondering what about communism doesn't appeal to you as someone who wants heaven.
And I answered that by saying, do you think that heaven and the world that we live in now are similar?
No, I think.
To which
I think that communism in the way that it is described is very similar to the model of heaven. Yes.
And I'm asking you, is the world similar to heaven.
What's the world have to do with the idea? Wait, I thought we could. Wait, you started this conversation off with like we can conceptualize things outside of reality, like, and we agreed. So
I said that you can conceptualize things
which is why
outside of the mere material,
right, which is why we can both
and
understand
that
what heaven
human
might be
reason is
because it doesn't
beyond
exist, and we
one's
can
own
think about it.
existence.
Right. So I'm wondering. So a wealthless society where everyone is taken care of, all of their survival needs are taken care of, and even more ruthlessly adhering to communism is the equality of outcome for everybody in heaven. So I'm wondering what about communism doesn't appeal to you if you desire well, and also eternal worship of your guy, which you can do in communism.
And it's just all equal, right?
Do you think there's a hierarchy in heaven like among the normal citizenry? Like, of course, there's hierarchy within heaven insofar as it pertains to God and Jesus and the saints and those.
Oh,
people.
so the people, there's a hierarchy in the people in heaven.
Well,
there's an order of grace, as it's called.
Not for the most part. For the most
No,
part,
for the most part, it is.
The vast population is literally lay people, right? And I think you would agree. Right, and that's where you would be in heaven. Is
what is a person in heaven called? Yeah, I'm asking.
You'd probably be a soul, maybe. Maybe that was
a saint. They're called a saint. Saints are in heaven,
so
and all saints have a place in the order of grace.
Wait, you're going to achieve sainthood when you go to heaven?
You're a saint when you're in heaven. You're not a saint when we say, a saint who manifests himself doing miracles. That's a completely different thing.
Miracles.
Well, I'm assuming that's what you think a saint means.
No, I just say miracles, but that's fine. So I'm wondering, okay. So are you on the same level as like Saint Thomas Aquinas at that point?
Whoa, dude, that's some honor right there.
No, that's what I'm asking. So there is a hierarchy, right?
Yeah, there's a hierarchy.
Okay, and
heaven.
So Aquinas would be ahead of you, and other saints that we recognize on the material plane, so to speak, would be higher than you in that hierarchy, or no?
Yeah.
So they would.
Most likely.
Okay, so then you would agree that most people that die and go to heaven are like you, in which they would have no upper mobility. They'd be the same the whole time, right?
That is not what I said.
So you have
really upper mobility in the sense that you don't get to. Once you go to heaven, I don't really think your place in the order of grace is going to change.
That's what I thought.
It's not going to be a bottom, like it's not like a cake, right? Where you have like the big cake, at the bottom, and like that's all the people, and then like above that's like the angels or something, and then like above that's like the Virgin Mary. There's people above me and below me, and there's a last of us, and there's.
Are you doing? Are you?
It's a hierarchy.
Are you adopting the Divine Comedy model of that kind of thing?
Where like. There's a line of people above and below one another.
Sure. Okay.
You know what that is? So it's not really like communism, is it?
No, there's hierarchy in communism.
There's not all. It's not all egalitarianism, is
it? There's no. Well, there's hierarchy in communism. So I'm just.
But it's not all egalitarianism, is it?
Egalitarian, not egalitarian. Yeah. It's not. I mean, it's not bald eagles caca. It's egalitarian. But
it'd be better if it was,
So wait. What isn't egalitarian about what you receive within heaven?
The order of grace in which you're positioned is not equal
to
that of anyone.
Yeah, but what's that like mean? What's the order of grace mean? Like how does that change your for lack of a better term, how does that change your material position within heaven?
Your material position?
Yeah, so say you're experiencing heaven, right? Because you're there for eternal
life.
There's
no material position.
Right. It was kind of a joke. It was kind of a joke. So what was your experience?
Oh, no, you're all wrong.
What would your experience in heaven change based on your grace status?
And your chat thinks I'm not funny.
What would your experience in heaven be differently than someone else?
Everybody is fulfilled in heaven, but the ones who are closer to God have a more a deeper fulfillment and knowledge of God Himself, which is, of course, the totality of all happiness. But we're all happy. I mean, no one's less happy.
So no one's less happy, only more happy.
Well, not really more. They're all maximally happy.
Oh, but some are more maximally happy.
Like, imagine the difference between a cup and like a gallon of milk, right? Like, both filled to the brim.
Yeah, both except a gallon is objectively more than a cup.
but both of them are maxed to their own capacity.
Okay, so you just don't have the capacity for more happiness.
You don't have the same capacity as the Virgin Mary or Saint Joseph.
For happiness.
Or your position in the order of grace, if you get there, is far lower than theirs.
Sure.
Right? They have a far more fulfillment in the sense of knowing God in his fullness. But that doesn't mean you're not fulfilled totally. Each person is different. We're all individuals, man.
Are you an individual in heaven?
Well, you're an individual, right?
I thought you became less individual when you get to heaven.
I mean, you right now, you're an individual, right?
Sure,
like,
but in heaven, we're talking about heaven. Like, so are you an individual in heaven?
I don't. Maybe not. I don't really know. I'm not there, and my personal opinion is, I'll figure it out when I get there, God willing.
Sure.
Pray for me, kings, to get there. But are you an individual now?
Yeah. Are you?
I think you are.
Right? Yeah. I don't think we were questioning whether or not we were individuals. Because that would be a silly what?
When I say that, I mean like you're this sort of rootless, ahistorical, no real concern about like the past or your obligations to it, to your ancestors.
Wait. That's interesting. What's your obligation to the past?
To take that which they have and preserve it and build it better for the generation that comes after you.
So you can't preserve it and change it for the better. You have to pick one.
No, that's actually not true.
That's objectively true.
That's simply not true.
That's not preservation,
because
then.
I could inherit a house and I could fix a door change that
That's ship
door,
of Theseus. That isn't changing it for the That's ship of Theseus.
Right?
That isn't changing it for the better.
Right? Like I can change a door. It's a really creaky door.
Okay,
it's
so
really
what if I take it and change? That's not making the house better. That's preserving the house.
Yeah, it is making the house better and preserving the house, because there's such a thing as styles in doors, right? Maybe it's an art deco.
Wait, so you think the ship of Theseus is the same ship at the end?
What? The ship of what?
Theseus. You said you were a big philosophy guy. Ship of Theseus. This again.
I actually never said I was that big of a philosophy guy.
This is like fucking philosophy 101, bro. Ship of Theseus. You take a ship, you replace a part. Is it still the same ship? Yes. You replace the mast. Is it still the same ship? Yes. If you replace the hull, replace the things. At the end of the process, you replace every aspect of the ship. Is it still the same ship? And you say yes.
I say that traditions can change over time.
Traditions can change over time. So what about the tradition of social existence? Can society change over time?
Yeah.
We agree.
That's crazy, dude.
Yeah.
Don't see how that frees you from an obligation to the past, though. But
no, it really doesn't. Because
it doesn't. You're right. It doesn't.
Well, no, because I was never bound to an obligation to the past.
You're always bound to an obligation to the past.
You're not bound to an obligation to anything, really.
Really?
Yeah.
Really? You don't have. And I don't know anything about you, but
so what's an obligation to the past that you think I might adhere to?
You don't have an obligation to your family.
Is that to the past?
Your parents,
like
right?
Their heritage?
They're going to get old, and I'm just asking you in general.
That's not an obligation to preserve anything about them.
Well, I'm asking you a question just to see how much obligations you have, and hypothetically, you don't need to get into personal detail.
No is the answer.
You don't have an obligation to take care of your dying mother.
Is taking an wait. First of all, I don't have an obligation. I would feel
really.
Yeah, there's no like cause.
There's no duty as a son, right? You don't owe them anything. This is what I mean when I say you're ahistorical and rootless.
So this is fundamentally missing the point on what is like an ought and what is like. So it makes sense to take care of an elderly person that is related to you because they can't take care of themselves, and it's more ethical to make that person comfortable due to the fact that their well-being is improved by you interceding in their well-being, right? But what you're saying is that you are just cosmically sort of bound to this as a child. Are you bound to that as a child if your mother, say, abused you every single day?
you still have a duty to your
Right.
family.
And see, this is the fundamental
their
disagreement
actions.
because you're cucking for someone that doesn't deserve it. Like, it doesn't make any sense.
I'm cucking because why don't they deserve it?
Why doesn't a person that abused you deserve your respect?
They brought you into this world.
Do you
You
wait?
have
That
directly from that person. You would
yeah,
not be who you are without them.
yes.
You owe everything to that
You
person.
don't owe everything to that person.
Yeah, you do.
No.
Yes, and that's why you don't have a sense of community because
So
you don't feel
so I
that
would
you have
argue I would argue that the sense of
others
community
that
is
exist
stronger.
for you.
I would argue strongly that the sense of community is stronger in a situation where you choose the people by which you align yourself, right? So I would say that the fundamental structure of camaraderie and the shared feeling of wanting to ensure each other's well-being is much more strong in communities that choose to be around one another rather than communities that feel obligated regardless of like real-world tethering to one another. Does that make sense? Like
Now,
your friends, like your friends, like your friends. Your friends are your boys. They're ride or die,
For
and
my kings,
and
kings,
yeah, and they're
right?
your kings.
For my kings.
But you would say that you have
Ship
no
all.
obligation to them whatsoever.
I never said I have no obligation to
Okay,
them.
so I would say that your obligation to them is much stronger than a parent that happened to, or a sibling, or literally any other person that shares a DNA to you. Do you disagree?
That a parent has more or less than somebody else.
That a parent, so simply by sharing DNA with you, DNA information due to procreation,
Mm-hmm.
you think that person has inherent value rather than the earned value of your kings, as you say.
Yes, they do have an inherent value, and yes, you do have a duty to them, regardless.
It exceeds the value regardless of how they treat you, right?
Yeah,
So your
to an
dad, so
extent.
if your dad was Hitler, and this is an extreme example, if your dad was Hitler and your friend was Jesus, you would have more obligation towards your dad Hitler than your friend Jesus.
That is the dumbest freaking thing that you could have said.
Okay,
Jesus
so
is literally the Son of God and God Himself. Obviously, I have more of an obligation to God
okay,
than my
okay, so
dad.
check it out. So what about
What a
someone? No,
stupid
your dad.
analogy, dude.
It's not. It's
Honestly,
really
it
not.
really is.
No, it's not, because I think it's hilarious that you think that someone's well-being that you love is less worthy than your belief in a God, which is kind of why I said that. But then, so instead of Jesus, your dad Hitler, and then whoever your best friend in the whole world is right now, whoever that person is, you would say they were. You have to ensure their well-being, and you have the Batman problem. They're both hanging off a cliff. You grab dad Hitler instead of your boy, right?
Do you know who King Saint Louis the Ninth was?
It is irrelevant.
It's not. This is actually pertinent because this is a really good example.
I just want your answer. I don't care what King
Yeah,
Louis
I'm
said.
getting. It's going to answer it. Don't worry.
All right.
So King Louis the Ninth caught two men who were committing an act of treason, and he brought them to his court, and he was like, said to the one man, "Well, why? Why did you do this?" And he explained to the guy, "Well, this is my father. I am loyal to you as king, but he's my dad, and I didn't know what to do. And I'm not saying it's appropriate to commit treason because your dad does, but I'm saying that King Louis the Ninth recognized that there was an obligation to his father that he fundamentally had, and he said, "Well, I can't blame you, and he for having this obligation to your father. So to answer your question, do I have an obligation to my father, regardless of who he is, to aid
Over
him
your
in
boy.
some extent over my kings? I love my kings,
Right.
guys. I love them.
Yeah.
But my dad, I have an obligation. I have
Sure.
to honor thy father and thy mother.
Yeah.
I am sorry, kings.
Right. And so this is the
Sorry.
fundamental difference. This is the
Forgive me, kings."
So this is a big fundamental difference. If I love you, regardless of whether or not we have a tie from like a hereditary linkage, if I love you, that is the hinge, and that's basically the number one thing that Jesus taught was to love one another, love your neighbors, and love each other. And I know
And
he
love.
said, and I know he said, and I know he said, and I know the church says, and honor thy mother and father. But honor thy mother and father has nothing. Doesn't really say love your mother and father. It says honor your mother and father, and I would disagree with that from a sort of theologic standpoint. But that's fine. It's irrelevant. The point is, my point of view on the world is fundamentally more prone to ensure someone's well-being than yours, because you are tethered to an erroneous belief. You are tethered to a sort of a I would say capricious belief, and I would say that you are. I feel bad for you, and not in like a shitty way. I actually like I have a lot of sympathy for someone that is so lost in the weeds here, that the people that you love are like commodities that you're willing to sacrifice for this sort of broad notion of an afterlife and the idea that you're satisfying some deity that seems otherwise pretty inert insofar as how it cares about you or your life, and how it thinks that you ought to suffer, and how it thinks that if you have burdens that you must trudge through them rather than address them and heal and be better. And so it doesn't really reflect well on the idea that your God is a positive entity in the universe, if in fact he did exist. It speaks to a malevolent individual rather than a benevolent one. And if he is real, he gave me the reasoning to deduct that, and it just doesn't seem to me that there's any reason to really buy into that belief system other than fear of being wrong. Fear. It's pretty much quite literally Pascal's wager. You're just saying, well, I have to do certain things to ensure my space in heaven. Fuck you, boys. Even though I love you more than I love Hitler, Dad, in this scenario, I though I love you, it is not my personal best interest to do so. And that's fucking sad. That's really fucking sad. And it leads to really poor reasoning. It leads to a poor life, and it leads to an unhappy life. We disagree on that, but I don't believe that you are generally going to be a happy guy if you just look at the burdens that you face, and you purport and tell this to your followers, and they believe this a similar thing, that the burdens that they face are things that they must suffer through, irrespective of their ability to do so or their desire to persist, for fear of death and hellfire. So really, this is more of a plea to other people listening that might be going through Catholicism in the way that you are. I would strongly suggest applying skepticism and considering the fact that there's nothing literally anywhere other than your own personal belief that was just passed down to you by people that didn't understand the world, that wrote down words that couldn't be really sussed out until later on. That your worldview is leading you to unnecessary suffering and unhappiness, and you can be liberated from that if you are hopefully brave enough to do so. And that's a really big. It's super sad to watch. Yeah, I feel really bad for you, and I'm not being shitty. Like, I don't think you're stupid necessarily. I don't think you're certainly not necessarily a good person, but it's not necessarily your fault either. You were told certain things, and you believe a certain thing after the fact. And if you would talk to me 5 years ago, I probably would have dismissed you and said that you were a dumb fuck. But really, what I genuinely feel really bad, and it's sad that your belief system leads you to have a life that, because we're only here for a little bit of time. It's sad that you choose to live it in a way that the people that remember you when you die are going to remember this guy that didn't love them the way that maybe they deserved, and you didn't get loved the way you deserve back. And it's just for for this sort of blind faith leap towards something that's never interacted with you. That's pretty sad, man. Yeah. So, yeah, I wish you the best. Thanks for the conversation. I don't think it was, we didn't really get into any of the politics stuff that I thought we might talk about.
Yeah, unfortunately. But thanks for having me on, buddy.
Yeah. Yeah, I think if you and your Twitter followers are interested in hearing a different perspective, you can hold on to your cum brains and chill with the Jesus is king, Trump is awesome, white power shit. I think you might find a more reasonable situation to live your life, and hopefully lead to more well-being, more happiness in general, and actually addressing some of the issues that a lot of people that might face. Like, I don't know. Like, you have 900 people in your following, and assuming every single one of them listens to you, the statistics are that you will have 9 of those people minimum will be trans. Probably around 30% of them to 50% of them will be LGBT.
That's how statistics work in real life, yeah.
Roughly, it's a sample size. And
yeah, for sure. There's definitely no selection bias coming to a
Well, hold on. I was gonna say there could be some selection bias, so it might be a little bit lower. And
definitely going to play out like you're saying. Sure.
Well,
you're not all Catholics.
And I'm just sure. And I'm just hoping that if any of those people that are dealing with any of those things are confused about that or are not getting the answers in the church, I'm not gonna denigrate your necessarily your faith. I know it brings you some comfort, and that's totally fine. The problem with the faith that I have is when it affects other people's well-being, and you negatively affect people's well-being with the things that you say. I'm fine if it works for you, but reaching out to any of the Catholics in chat right now, if you want to stick around, I'd be happy to have you. But I doubt it, and that's fine. That's okay. But anyway,
do I get my closing statements?
Go ahead and give yourself a couple minutes, and you can say something.
Oh, thank you, buddy. Listen, in all seriousness, you didn't have to do this. You offered me a chance to express myself, and thank you for it. And I think we've learned a lot despite our disagreements. I think that your chat had a real opportunity here to learn that life actually isn't fair, and it's not all about you being like totally stoked about it, bro. And if you think life's unfair now, like wait until you hear about hell, because it's like permanent.
Yeah.
And my chat got to learn a lot too. It's got to learn that you really are just this undignified, rootless, ahistorical person who lives his life so much for himself and commodities that he has no real history, and he's just floating in space. And said correctly one thing, which is you're here for a really short time.
Yeah.
And I'm sure that the people remembering you are gonna be like, dude, he sat around and like didn't have an obligation to anybody. Whereas my family's probably gonna remember me more for actually caring enough about them to tell them that they're wrong.
Yeah.
And that maybe they're living life that's actually really bad for them, because it's going to lead to something that they don't really like, and it doesn't really make them happy. I know you deserve an Emmy for your absolute faux sad last statement, but I'm glad you really care about us by letting us be ourselves. That's it. God bless. I will talk to you in just
I just banned him. Okay, so yeah, so as far as the because I hope there's some Catholics still sticking around. As far as the sort of tetherless thing, which I definitely think that a Catholic might believe, which is a little bit scary. Tether yourself to love for one another and the people around you. Okay? I know, and you probably know this too, that your love for the people around you manifests in a more intense and reciprocated way than you've ever gotten from your religion. And I think you know that at the heart. It could be a scary thing to address, but I'm pretty confident that you understand that the way that you love each other manifests fundamentally more intensely than your love for that you receive and that you give out to specifically the dogma of the church and the beliefs therein being Jesus and everything. You may disagree, maybe that's fine. That's totally fine. You'll go away with this and you'll just be a Christian forever, and that's totally cool. I absolutely as far as the commodity stuff, I don't know if he thinks I'm a capitalist or something, or I don't know. The thing that I think is best for most people, and atheists, a lot of Christians think that atheism. And we never get to talk about atheism. We never talk about this now because it's just so fundamentally like kind of normal. The thing about atheists and living as an atheist, and this is a problem for a lot of apostates too. A lot of you deal with the issue of like death and hell and all that stuff. I can't share your fear of hell. I can't share it. It doesn't exist, and that's okay. You might believe it exists, and that's fine. But here's the thing. If it doesn't exist, okay, just entertain the idea of hell not existing. There's some Christians that believe hell doesn't exist. The commodity. He was not a troll. Why? How come you guys think that people who are dumb or just believe different things are trolls? Yeah, come on. He's clearly like a youth group guy. The idea is basically like, oh, what is life worth anymore? Life has no meaning. Here's the coolest fucking thing I learned from other people, because I never was religious, so I didn't have to deal with that. But what I learned from people that go through apostasy and leaving churches, whether it's Catholic or Protestant or Islam or whatever, what these people experience is at first dread of death, dread of the afterlife, and dread of hell. But knowing intellectually that thing isn't real, and then understanding later that guilt was abuse. It was abuse by the people that you trusted in your life, probably your parents, but definitely the people that represent the church. They don't know, and this is the thing. It's like that kind of subtle abuse that you don't realize that you are experiencing, right? Like a dad that's very yelly. It might be normal for you to yell a lot, but if you go to a situation where the yelling stops, or you go to a situation where the physical abuse stops, and many people that are Catholic experience forms of abuse in this way that they thought was normal, and then moving out on their own, being adults or whatever, you find that it is not at all normal to experience certain things. And then you find yourself to be, happier for not experiencing that abuse. Similarly, if you stop being subject to the inherent disgust you're supposed to feel for yourself as it relates to your sinfulness, you will find yourself being happier in a real way, not in this pretend Catholic way that guy was talking about. It's psychological abuse. And look, again, I really hope some of the Catholics stuck around. I doubt many of them did. But I would really like you to stick around if you can, because I feel like you'll find not only is your eternal life not at stake, because you never had a stake in eternal life, but you'll also find that your material existence, your real reality, is improved by understanding like your place in reality. And understanding that it's okay to be whoever you are, in whatever way that manifests. Whether you're a straight cis white guy like me, and you never had a question seriously about your sexuality or your gender, and it's always felt right. Or if you do have questions like that, it doesn't have to necessarily deal with that, but that's a big thing that's happening right now. You'll find that you're happier. You are valid. And you are good, and you have value apart from your God. You have value to me, even if we don't agree. You have inherent sort of like I value you as a human being. Now you can ruin that, but like I value you and other people value you. Your family values you. Your friends value you. There's much more to life than subservience to a thing that is never reciprocated. Ever.